for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. The number to call if you're up and around, you're out and about, you want to give us a shout, is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. We are live today. And we got a few things on the menu that I'd like to go over and discuss. Actually, it was a few things, more than a few things in the sports world over the last couple of weeks. But there was so much to choose from, I had to, make my selection, so to speak. So I hope you all enjoy the selection today. And, of course, with the NBA season set to tip off this evening, got a couple of marquee games on. But, unfortunately, one of the marquee players that everybody was looking forward to seeing will not be available. So we take you around the NBA, give you our thoughts on what's going on and what the upcoming season will look like for certain teams and players and so on and so forth. And, of course, the team notables, NFL Week 7, or should I say the notable team performances. Then we'll touch on the World Series. The Nats and Astros square off as well tonight. But up first, what is the defending champion? Joining me on the show today is none other than my cap from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Brother Rich. Brother Rich, what's happening?
I am good, my dear brother and friend. It's always honored to be on the program and the platform with you and all our other co-hosts.
Really? I only give you $20 a pop to say all of that, man. You really go overboard with it, don't you really? Yeah, you do. And on the other side of the ledger, I got my man from up north, Joey James.
I didn't say what you said, what you wanted me to say about the Cowboys, though. So I don't get that part of the money.
A.K.A. Double J. Tell the people what you say.
More consistent than Mike Nugent and John Diebler.
Oh.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, my gosh. We all, you know what? And then last but not least, my original co-host, still, of course, a part of the program, as we do every now and again. He drop in and drop us a line, drop us a few lines, say a few words. My man D. Gully from the Columbus. What's up, Gully?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing, man? It's great to be back here. I feel like I'm back home again. Let me go ahead and get cozied up and get ready, man. Great to be back with you guys.
Wow, that was a bunch of malarkey. And I ain't talking about Mike either. Anyway, yeah, this first one comes to us from one of my sports colleagues. This guy and I, we go way, way back, man. I've been knowing this guy since about, 1989? We go way, way back. Got one of my cats, man. Big C is what I call him, down in the ATL. And he listened to the program. We appreciate that. He sent me a question via the shop fan page, Facebook, right? And he said, man, what is a defending champion? He said, how is it that these teams, for instance, like when the Patriots win the Super Bowl or the Cavs win the championship, and then the following year, how can they be called the defending champions when they don't have anything that following season to lose? And I said, doggone it. I said, we kind of discussed this to some degree, Brother Rich. What was ours that was kind of similar? What was ours kind of? When you and I were discussing, I think you did too, Double J. And Gully, you and I too, maybe a while back. We were talking about what is world champions? Remember I asked you that, Brother Rich? I was like, how can the Giants win the Super Bowl will be called world champions? How can the Cavs win the title and be called world champions? Now in soccer, which of course you and Double J are more familiar with, then I could see where that is the case.
You are really a world champion in soccer.
Exactly. You get what I'm trying to tell you?
They really crown a world champion.
Exactly. You crown a world champion. So I'm like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? It's just something to be said because you know me with expressions and things of that nature. You know, people say things and repeat things, because they heard them or it sound good, but they don't really understand what it is that's being repeated or what's being said, right? So he said, what is a defending champion? So in other words, I mentioned the Patriots, right? Let's say the Patriots, and I don't know, I'm just picking a year, with me having just had that fender bender and, of course, senility, the combination of the two is just not good for me right now, so y'all got to bear with me. My memory is really, really at a disadvantage right now. But the way he put it was like, let's say the Patriots won the Super Bowl last year. Did they win it last year, Double J? I don't even know who won the Super Bowl last year.
Oh, boy.
They did.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
they did.
yeah, because I'm not.
They did, remember,
Yeah, I'm not really.
in spite of Brady's paltry performance.
Oh yeah, got you. So let's say the Patriots win the Super Bowl last year. All right, going into this season, they're being called, of course, the defending champions. That's not true because this is a new year. If the Patriots get to the Super Bowl again, which by all accounts they most likely will, especially with what's going on with Patrick Mahomes, we'll get to that when we talk about our NFL stuff. But if the Patriots get to the Super Bowl this year and don't win, what do they lose? They just lost the Super Bowl for this year. But that championship trophy that they got for last year, they don't lose that. They don't have to give that up to whoever wins it if they don't win it. You get what I'm trying to say? And this is what my cat Big C was saying. He said, now in boxing, when a boxer has all the belts or has a belt, he's a defending champion. But when that fight is over, if he don't win, what happens to that belt? You got to give it up, right? So how can we say that the Cavaliers going into the following season after winning the title, or the Spurs or the Lakers or anybody, Patriots, whoever, Giants, whoever it is that wins a Super Bowl or NBA championship, maybe even the World Series, I'm not sure, okay. In other words, the trophy that the team won the year before, right? The following season, they don't lose that trophy that they won from the year before. Gully, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
Lord Stanley's Cup is awarded to the hockey team that after an 84-game season and a playoff and a Stanley Cup final wins the trophy. I believe it is passed in its original, and however there's an official Lord Stanley's Cup that's passed.
That's a fact.
Okay,
That's a fact.
thank you. For that same reason, that cup, simply by virtue of it being the Lord Stanley's Cup, is passed on from winning team to winning team. The fact that a facsimile trophy, Vince Lombardi?
Vince Lombardi, right?
Trophy, yeah, it's passed on. It's the same kind of. It's the same, effectively the same result. I mean, we're physically not dealing with the same trophy, but I think it's a question of semantics. I do kind of understand the idea that I do kind of understand something based on your description of what does it mean to be a champion.
A defending champion.
That a defending champion is that until they either win the title again or they effectively lose the ability to defend the title, to win the title again. So the defending champion Spurs in 2014 lost the title the moment the Clippers beat them in Game 7 of the first round in 2015. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, but listen.
At that point, their title defense is over.
Okay, but listen. But you had to understand now, this is where I get you with the semantics, but you got to dive a little bit deeper in that. What he's saying is, physically, the 2016 Super Bowl champions, whoever they were, I still don't remember all of that. Okay, help me out here. No, never mind. In 2017, the 2016 trophy is not awarded or given to the winner in 2017 as whoever was the winner in 2016. If Livingston Bramble and Greg Haugen, I know they probably was two different weight classes, but again, I'm going to boxing right quick because actually Big C he's when I don't have Tariq on here, he's my other boxing insider, to tell you the truth. He's very, very, very good with his hands. When you go in a championship fight, you come in with the belt that you won or belts that you won from the previous fights. Right? And what do we okay, so in other words, you telling me if the Patriots in 2017 and they won the Super Bowl in 2016, 2017, they're unifying the trophies or something? No. The unification of the belts in boxing.
Jay,
go ahead.
Well, Jay, that's not necessarily. There's some semantics to that argument that you're giving as well, that a boxer would give as well. That applies to exactly the way Gully is showing us, which is the exact same thing, which is why it's not really semantics. It's the same conversation. I'm going to take it in a different direction, but it's the same thing in the sense of that when a fighter wins, and he gets this belt,
mm-hmm.
if I was the champion that he beat, you can still come to my house and see that belt on my mantelpiece because I'll say, this is where I was the champion of so-and-so, and so I win the title, so-and-so, this is the belt from so-and-so and so-and-so. Because all of these trophies, with the exception, this is why the Stanley Cup is unique among the trophies. This is why Gully pointed that out to us. Because the Stanley Cup is unique among the trophies because you actually take the team actually takes that very trophy, and then you get to drink from the cup, and there's a celebration of what your team does with it. You get to carry, that's unique in its celebratory factors. But the idea is that we are taking this symbolic trophy, and the one thing I would just interject is, remember now, the cultural language of using this is American sports. In American sports, it's not so much about an individual sport. Remember, American sports are not about individuals. That's what boxing is about, an individual thing. So it's about beating me as an individual and taking this belt from me. But in the American lexicon, sports landscape is about teamwork. So this is why we have to call and respect the Toronto Raptors. And in sports in general, most of those teams are not the same. No matter who wins the World Series this year, more than likely the team will not be the same because of the attrition, trades, this, that, the other, this, that. So things will happen in sports. The Toronto Raptors will certainly, we all know, look different in starting the season and playing through this season than they did last year, but they're still called the defending champions.
All right, Double J, you go ahead.
What about Game 30 of the season?
Yeah, go ahead. Double J, what you say to all of this?
Oh, you guys bring up good points. The only other example I would say is similar to that is if you think of the NCAA rivalries among specific schools. You got the old Oaken bucket between Purdue and Indiana.
Exactly.
You got the Paul Bunyan.
Yes, that's where I was going to go next,
and
actually.
So,
yeah.
And
hold it.
But again, overall,
hold that thought, Double J. And when you mentioned the old golden bucket or something, who does the axe? Is that in the Big Ten, Wisconsin, and all that? Somebody gets the axe or something,
yeah,
right?
That's Wisconsin. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then, when if Wisconsin wins whatever that game is, they get the axe, right? And inscribed in that, if I'm remembering correctly, and again, my memory don't always serve me right, so I'm surprised I'm even remembering this much. Inscribed in the handle of the axe are all the teams who have won it previous, right?
As the scores, correct.
Okay, well, the scores or whatever.
Talking about the Paul Bunyan.
Okay, so then to my Cat C's credit, there's only one axe. There's not a replica. Whoever wins that game and with the scores inscribed on it, the axe then goes to that school. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
So by that logic,
no. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Go
Go ahead, Double J. Go ahead, finish. Sorry about. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Everybody's making pretty valid points here regarding it. There's been some hearsay that at one point in time the NHL would have replica Stanley Cups that I think would have been in existence maybe between the 30s and the 60s. But otherwise, since then, no. To your point, it is the one and only.
There you go.
That you see.
That's what I thought. Go ahead, Gully. What were you going to say? Were you finished, Double J?
Yep.
Okay, good. Go ahead. What'd you say, Gully?
So can Giannis Antetokounmpo defend his MVP award this year?
I don't know if an award is that technical. Do that fall under this category? I don't think so.
Why won't it?
Because we're
giving an award.
We're talking about defending champions. We're not talking about awards.
Well, how do you get the championship?
But like to Brother Richards, what do you mean? How you have to win the championship is for all of the marbles, so to speak. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
So a league MVP. So a league MVP award. A league MVP award is given to a singular. Like for example, league MVP award is given to a singular person based on a consensus of I mean, what is a championship? Think about it like, you know what I'm saying? And what is a championship? What's the difference?
But who votes on the championship? A MVP award.
I don't know, but it's a singular award, but given to a singular entity.
Yeah, but it's not. I hear you, but I don't know if that applies here because the MVP award is based upon voters, so to speak, and I think that's where that might change the conversation a little bit. I don't.
Okay.
I think that might change the. I mean, I get where you're going with that, but I don't know. I don't. But I mean, so in other words, what it sounds like. I don't know if it's a right or wrong here, and I don't think that's what he was driving at. He just posed, what I thought after giving it some thought. Look, you know me. Anytime somebody, and this, you all have done it, Brother Rich, Double J, you Gully, C, my cat Leon, RB, Shabani, all the folks who didn't participate, Bruce, the folks who I know didn't participate in this program at some point in time or another. If you all say something that gets me, and I ain't saying I'm all that, but if you have me sit back in my chair and be like, okay, well, wait a minute, looking at the ceiling, I'm loving that. You know what I'm saying? Give me something to grow on. You know what I'm saying? Something to think about. You know what I'm saying? And when the way he posed it, I said, dang, man, I got to go, hold up, wait a minute, go back now. Let me slow down here for a minute. Because it made me think of what Double J said about the acts. And then, you know, to Brother Richard's point, too, and then your point about the hockey trophy or whatnot, I just think in the end, again, there's really no right or wrong, so to speak. It was just a very interesting observation, a very interesting question, I thought, something that could be questioned, and I felt like, of course, we should discuss it. So I guess I guess it could be both ways. So it depends on what interpretation, maybe, Brother Rich.
It's just interpretation. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Interpretation. In that, as I said, it's how our landscape is as it relates to sport,
Yeah.
and that's why in our landscape, in the American landscape, America can say the NBA, that's the world champion, irregardless that China wasn't involved or India wasn't involved. The two most populous continents, Africa is not involved, Australia is not involved, but we say because 50 states played, that's the world champion.
Got you. All right, good stuff, fellas.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh at that, man.
Yeah.
I had to laugh at that. You're absolutely right. How sort of foolish it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Moving on, let's talk about some of this NBA action that's going on or set to tip off this evening. And we got 2 games, of course, on tonight's schedule. 2 games prior to tonight's tip-off, were highly anticipated, based on not just the teams themselves and what the outlooks for those teams might be, but in the question marks surrounding them, but, of course, some of the players involved. And the season kicks off tonight on TNT at 8 p.m. with the Pelicans at the Raptors. Now, before we get to dissecting and breaking down the teams and players and so on and so forth, I want to throw some out here right quick to you all. And Double J, we'll come to you on this one. And then, of course, Brother Rich and Gully, y'all weigh in. Hands down, inside the NBA, are they the best pregame, postgame, whatever type game show in all of sports? Double J, in your estimation?
Without a doubt.
I think so, too.
Every pregame, postgame show that has existed in history up to this point has generally consisted of a host and an expert here or there, and generally special guests. And however, again, we really hone in on the dynamic of not only being knowledgeable but being entertaining. And what they have, that combination there, which, if you remember, did not start with all of them. It started with Kenny and Ernie and Chuck, and then of course Shaq was a late addition there. But I tell you, I have it on now. As we speak, that TNT show is on. Albeit I just got the chance to check out Snoop while you were finishing a point there. So I tell you what, they should. I hope in our lifetime they're recognized for truly how great they are. Forget what they all were able to accomplish, except for Barkley on the court. but I hope all of them, while they're still breathing, get every accolade possible because they are going to remain to be one tough act to follow.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Brother Rich, what about you? What you say?
I don't know them from a consistent viewing point of view. I don't watch them consistently.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
know them from snippets, and they get so many retweets online. I know that they're very popular.
Yeah, very
I can only
popular.
speak to them from that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
very popular.
They are. I mean, but Gully, we'll come to you right quick, and then briefly just give us your thoughts on it because it's something I want to say, and the reason why that came to mind, I threw that out there. What you say, Gully, about the Inside the NBA pregame show?
Oh yeah, they're dynamic. I like Sunday Night NFL particularly.
Okay, that ain't bad. Yeah.
Perhaps maybe a little bit more, but they have a cast of they have character, and character doesn't outweigh the subject of the subject in their context of their opinions. So it's a really great dynamic.
Yeah, and that's where I was driving at. You know, we've had this conversation before about if you're into the talk shows, the Colin Cowherds and the PTIs and the Around the Horns and so on and so forth. I don't know how, maybe you all are not, but on my end of things, you know, I had to kind of keep up with ratings, so to speak. You know what I mean? Who's watching, who's listening, you know, things of that nature. You know, that says a lot in the success or non-success of whatever it is that you're doing or your program or whatnot. And although a lot of the shows you see on TV, of course, are backed by sponsors and folks are getting paid and so on and so forth, but if you had a list of them in front of you, you know, you'd see it'd be some shows down at the bottom. You'd be like, wow, you'd be surprised because nobody really it's kind of whole hum, the whole drum. But a lot of that has to do with who you tune in to see and the dynamic between the folks that you're tuning in to see. You know, I will not get away from that, man. That the dynamic. How often have we mentioned the whole idea? As I use an example, as Mike and Mike. I use as an example the Mike and Mike show when it used to be Mike and Mike. I mean, who didn't look forward to that if you were a sports junkie or sports head, right? Now that they've separated, so to speak, the Golic and Wingo, even in the Get Up, I mean, they doing well, but it don't have that same allure. Is that the right word I'm looking for here, Gully, maybe? That same pull. And they seem to have added and try to do more, added more bells and whistles to keep people coming in, whereas when it was just Mike and Mike, you tuned in because their personalities were like night and day, but they went well together. You know what I mean? They didn't have the whole host of, you know, trinkets to try to draw you in. Does that make sense? Okay, maybe it does.
Absolutely, it does.
I got you.
Absolutely,
Right.
no, absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
I see exactly what you're saying, and it's particularly tough because they're on their own. They seem to be likable guys. You know what I mean? On the show, you know what I'm saying? In their respect, I actually kind of like them. You know, I don't mind listening to them. I think they have I think they have a good opinion. I think what you're saying is spot on. It seems like it's dynamic, man. Character and dynamic. You know, that thing it's very special,
Yeah.
and that's why inside the NBA, that's why that TNT broadcast, man, is truly remarkable for television because they have all of that, and you're still getting great content as it relates to the sport of basketball.
Yeah, I think it's a complete package. So, you know, yeah. That's why I do it the way I do it. You know, I'm not necessarily going to call myself a perfectionist, but I know what I see in my head and how I want this thing to look like too. So, as they say, the show must go on. We keep it moving. All right, so in tonight's matchup, the first matchup at 8 o'clock, as I said, the Pelicans at the Raptors. Brother Rich, we all know by now the story that Zion will be out 6 to 8 weeks. He's having he's had surgery on his meniscus. What does that say for the Pelicans? You know, this season, does that?
Well, it indicates slow start.
Okay.
Slow start.
Yeah, and I was going to say, does that change
But
the
it's a young
outlook
team.
for them this season in your mind?
Absolutely. Changes the outlook.
Okay.
Absolutely. So they definitely going to get off to a much slower start.
Okay.
I don't think the enthusiasm it certainly takes some of the air out of the building right away, right off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can expect for it to be looking for him to, take it easy coming back and perhaps look now more towards the mid-season start for his season as opposed to coming out the gate with the kind of firepower we expect them to come out with. I know some people, particularly over there in Dallas in Cowboy land and LeBron land, are looking at this and are kind of concerned about the young man, his size, his weight, whether or not he can do it.
Was all of that necessary? Was all of that necessary?
I would just say
was it necessary?
I would just say to the listeners.
You ain't gonna have much to say to no listeners because I'm about to mute your ass. That's what I'm about to do.
This is Zion. This is Zion.
Okay.
This is Zion.
Yeah.
He's arrived.
See what I'm saying?
With this young man has a bright future. It's good that he's getting his knee cleaned up early.
Oh, please. It shouldn't have been no cleanup
right.
to be from the beginning.
Right.
Stop it. See, I was trying to be nice. You know what I'm saying? I posed the question to you. You know what I'm saying? Come see, come sigh. I wasn't leaning one way or the other. And then you had to preface all of that about, I asked you about Zion and the Pelicans. You had to, where the Cowboys and the Brown land, where did all that come in at? You know what I'm saying? It's cool, though. You know what I'm saying? Wait, when I recover from this fender bender fully, believe me, I will be to see you with the Smythe Con trophy. Double J, give me your thoughts on the Raptors.
Yeah.
I want your thoughts on the Pelicans, too, but I'm asking about the Raptors. Oh, go ahead.
I want to point this out before we even really dive into the game itself.
Oh, boy.
So inside of the arena.
You're doubling down on what Brother Rich said? Is that what you're doing?
No.
Okay, well, that's a first.
The more serious point. Of course, they're going to have the T-shirt commemorating the championship run of last year.
Okay.
However, kind of a black eye to start the season off is
hold it.
protesters.
Okay, so black eye for the NBA. Oh, good. Okay, go ahead, finish.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
There will be protesters handing out Stand With Hong Kong T-shirts. So be on the lookout. They're going to have to do some very creative camera work early on to try to avoid that. And it'll be interesting to see how the league handles this because this is a year, as somebody that's a season ticket holder, you cannot say anything detrimental. It is instantly there's no 3-strike rule, unfortunately, like there is in soccer where, unfortunately they're going to throw you out right away. So, but back to the game.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I'm glad you brought that up because when preparing my notes, I meant to write that down to mention that, but then again, this is why I have good co-hosts because, where I miss at, you all fill in for the most part. I don't know what's going on with Brother Rich today. See what I'm saying? Doja, I appreciate you giving me a sports
yes, sir.
Yeah, a sportsologist type answer, you know what I'm saying, in this case. But Brother Richard always got to, you know what I'm saying? That's that New York City, man. You know what I'm saying? They wear Timbs and they get down like that. You know what I'm saying? They kick people in the back of the head and they keep it moving. Don't ride the A train. Yeah, that's a very, very interesting point. And I was going to mention that as well. And I was basically going to ask you all, the league is starting to crack down, in addition to what you just said, Double J, they're starting to crack down on fans getting fly, so to speak. Gully, you want to add to that?
Well, I'm interested to see how this is handled. I think that in the NBA have got a great sense of what can happen if you look at what's been going on with the NFL and the way Colin Kaepernick's protests and the way it took the league by storm. So they have a basis of understanding of how this thing can go, how delicate it can be, and how easily it can get out of hand for the league if they want to manage the narrative. So I am sort of interested in how they handle it. I believe it's worth noting, though, if we get into the particulars for just a moment, that Adam Silver did have some pushback on I guess, a request for him to handle certain things, or I guess a request to reprimand Daryl Morey.
Actually, it was said that they wanted him to fire him. It was some suggestion that they wanted him Silver to fire Morey. I don't know how you could do that though, but go ahead.
Yeah,
that was bad on China's part, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, but to his credit, he actually wisely thought about retaliated or I guess responded with the fact that they were no one's ever reprimanded for how they feel about the president of the United States. Say what you will about him, good or bad. So it would be inconsistent to start, I guess, reprimanding people for speaking about any issue in an indirect form, especially in a non-NBA capacity the way he was. So, again, I'm really interested in how to handle the things, Double J, for bringing that up. Because I think it's worth noting how they're going to handle that.
Yeah. So tonight, Brother Rich, who you got, Pelicans or Raptors?
Oh, I got the Pelicans.
Yeah, all day, every day. Now let's
some young boys coming out the gate doing that thing. Absolutely.
Now let's say the Pelicans beat the Raptors tonight. I know it's just the first game of the season and whatnot, but what does this do for morale? Because a lot of them guys, the Harts and the Ingrams and a few other them guys over there, was said to be, feeling some type of way, like they were cast-offs, so to speak. So, would that play a large part in the morale going forward, as far
I
as
think that's absolutely what's going on with them. They absolutely have something to prove. And I think even coming out the gate for them tonight, they have even more to prove because they know people are writing them off for the first several weeks of the season while Zion is gone. So they even have more in them themselves. This is actually good for them. I think this only strengthens them because we all know what Zion, those of us who don't live in Dallas, who are not Bron fans, we know what Zion is bringing to the table, so we know his plate is set. We're talking about the other people and whatever they're going to bring to the table. Those are the things that we're looking at. And so, yeah, I definitely think these young brothers are coming out to show themselves approved tonight and do what they got to do. Absolutely. Absolutely. On another thing, if I just want to close out with this, I absolutely agree with Double J. I think that's something to keep an eye on because if for no other reason that becomes a problem for the NBA in terms of its show of hypocrisy, and everybody's getting exposed nowadays, remember now.
Yeah.
So I think what he brought up is very serious, that if they put anybody out of any arena, anywhere, because the social justice warriors are going to be marching in every arena, and in some arenas they're going to be stronger than others. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out. So I think that's something we are going to have to keep an eye on.
Especially in those arenas where the cultures are more diverse. Canada, of course, being one of them. You get what I'm saying? So that is I'm glad you brought that up too, Double J, for real.
New York. Houston.
Yes, Chicago.
LA,
yeah. That's very, very good. That's very, very interesting. But right quick, I'm going to say this about Zion.
Dallas.
Oh man, you just couldn't.
Dallas, absolutely.
You just
Dallas,
couldn't.
with a lot of engineers, absolutely.
You just couldn't lay off, could you? Just couldn't lay off. You and Brother Rich tied to the hip. I swear, y'all need to start your own podcast. Yeah, right quick about Zion though. I will say this about the young man. Now, you know me. That's why Brother Rich keep, making these little snide remarks and comments. Because, I don't, the fundamentals.
Me?
No, not you. Being fundamentally sound is something I feel like I still have yet to see as far as in totality. But I will say this about the young man. I've listened to a couple interviews or whatnot. He got some good home training from somewhere. And I am so grateful for that. Okay? I mean, you ain't even got to go to the NBA arena and see these young dudes that be playing with a little air of haughtiness. You can walk outside and see this, So I'm grateful for that. The young man speaks well and whatnot. But at the same time, with him having to have such a, a lot of people take the meniscus thing lightly because it's, it's not that big a deal as far as the knee, how the knee is structured and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, got you. I would like for him, when he has this surgery, really put forth the effort, because it's not the injury per se, it's the rehab. And say what you want about modern medicine. Anything you want to say about all of that is true. But I don't care how modern the medicine is. The individual who has been injured has to put in the work to do the rehab. You're going to have to bust a sweat, baby. You got to bust a sweat. And it's the rehab. The rehab is 20,000 times worse than the injury itself. Believe me when I tell you. If you ain't blew out a knee or ruptured nothing, then yeah, let's move on. That's all I'm saying. So, Double J, who you got tonight? Pelicans or Raptors?
Well, I'm actually going to go with the Pelicans. I think right now.
That's not a surprise.
Preseason
That's not a surprise. You see how this Brother Richard pick? Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
No, but the rationale behind it, of course, despite the crowd, support for their championship, you're talking about 2 point guards starting a very kind of peculiar offense there with Lowry, Van Vliet, and then the insertion of Anunoby, who of course was out all of last year.
Yeah.
We'll see if these few games were enough to really develop a rhythm, and because of that, I think that the Pelicans have kind of a chip on their shoulder. In addition, they can kind of play free as well.
I think
that hey, there's no Zion, which really means there's no pressure.
That's a good point too. I think the Pelicans are a little bit deeper. And I made a mistake the last time we were here. I mentioned Julius Randle. He's not. Julius Randle was in New York. I thought Julius Randle was still in New Orleans. I knew that with them getting Zion, because they play the same position, I knew he was going to have to move somebody from off their squad. And unfortunately, it was Julius because he's been balling. But the Pelicans are deeper, I think, than the Raptors. And I'm sorry to say it, folks. I am not a fan of Kyle Lowry. He was the reason why I was a mustard seed away from not being a fan of Villanova no more. I could not. Now, he played better last season on the championship run. Van Vliet played better than Lowry, regardless of position. I'm just talking about individual performances, to me. But Kyle Lowry, man, he gets on my last and first nerve with his style of play. It's just horrendous. That's one of my words. Yes, terribly horrendous. All right, up next later in the nightcap, 10:30. Could you call that a nightcap? I guess that's almost midnight. My gosh, folks gonna be asleep. Brother Rich, you gonna be asleep? Take some Unisom. Yeah, Lakers at Clippers. No Paul George in this one.
Good try.
Yeah. And I just found out, breaking news, that they erecting a statue of you, Brother Rich, in front of the Staples Center. What's up with that? You say we talk about that next week? Got you. Yeah, I don't know what kind of pool you got out there in L.A. Yeah.
Kobe's not online.
Yeah.
Kobe's not online.
The Lakers and Clippers, though. No Paul George, of course, for the Clippers. I mean, this is the one that everybody want to see, right? Now, especially with Zion not being in for the Pelicans. So this is the one everybody want to see. So, Brother Rich, I mean, what should we expect? Okay? Is this overhyped, underhyped, too much hype, not enough hype? Hype Williams?
Well, we should definitely expect it to live up to the hype, if for no other reason than the personalities involved and their entourages alone make it worth a trip to the television screen tonight.
It depends on who you're asking.
I'm looking for the Clippers to win the game, and I'll tell you why. Because something about this iteration of the Los Angeles Lakers reminds me of the Laker team that had
Matt Vadenko,
Karl Malone,
Robert Sacre.
Got
you.
It reminds me of that squad. In that, I'm very concerned as to whether all of the pieces that we look at that are potentially, because I said this to you offline, and you will know this, and I'll say this on record, if they stay healthy, that's one of the most dangerous teams that the league has seen in a while.
Dangerous in what way? Offensively or defensively?
Dangerous in terms of their potential. Because let's look at it now. If Dwight Howard puts together any semblance of a season like he showed the potential he had to as an early Orlando Magic player, if he plays anything up to that, if LeBron James remains healthy and gives us a swan song worthy of the kind of career he's had to this point, meaning that if he comes out and just does 27-9 or 27-8 every night, and you have Anthony Davis playing up to his, everybody knows he's either in the prime of his life in terms of his career, or he is just about there. So you have a young player with the potential to show in the most major of markets that he has arrived. So all of the mix is there. LeBron has something to prove. AD has something to prove with all of the baggage that's been on his back last season. You got a serious situation. Now, on the other side, you got Kawhi is a quiet assassin, and that team is ready to prove that they're ready to take the not just the building, but the town and the league by storm. So tonight will be a test of wills, I believe, that the NBA gets off to a very good start in seeing defense go against offense, and we see what the year is shaping up to be.
You know, Double J, we're going to go to you next. But before you weigh in, I just wanted to say right quick, even though I think the Clippers will be good this season in terms of defense first, because you talk about the Lakers and their potential. They had the potentially to not play no potential defense. I'm sorry. You're not going to outscore your way to an NBA championship. That's just my opinion. But on the Clipper side, again, with Kawhi and all of that, they play defense. I think they'll be good this year. But they won't be, in my estimation, the full extent of what folks expect them to be or projected to be until they get into their own digs. It's almost like, you can go to a hotel when you're on vacation and sleep in a nice, comfortable bed, because there's some hotels out there that's got some real nice, comfortable beds. You can get a good night's sleep, but ain't nothing like sleeping in your own bed. Got me? When they get them digs up there in Inglewood, watch out. Go ahead, Double J. What you got to say?
Well, yeah, and remember, this is unfortunately a little bit of a watered-down version. You're still talking about no Paul George tonight, no Kyle Kuzma. As far as
no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Overall, look at this.
No Jerry West. You know what I'm saying? No Adonis Foyle.
And again, we got to remember here that it'll be interesting really to see what Doc Rivers actually, puts out there. He's had that sliding starting lineup for, basically all of the preseason. So you haven't been able to really get a true grip on who's who or what's what with the Clippers. And again, of course, all of the attention's been on the darlings, which is the Lakers. So, I think Kawhi is there, and I think this will be at least, worth, the TV viewership from everyone. But it'll be interesting to see, how these guys come together when the game matters, albeit one of just 82.
Sounds good. Gully, before you weigh in, just want to let folks know out there, if you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, we are getting to the second half or second portion of the program. The number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, the area code 267-687-0026. Gully, whoever wins this game tonight between the Lakers and Clippers, does that, even though it's just one, and the first one of this season, and it's 82 games, I get it, will that set the tone, more particularly the championship tone and expectations for either one of these teams moving forward this season?
Kawhi Leonard-led teams have a penchant for showing up and showing out on game one, and the rest of the NBA world continuing to fall asleep on him through the rest of the season. He did this on game one, I believe, when in his last season with the Spurs. The first game with Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors. I think they showed up and showed out, and I think the Spurs had a convincing victory against the Warriors. He's done this. He's led teams quite often in his career to great opening season statement wins. I expect only the same from a Kawhi Leonard-led team, and I expected the game to be a very great marquee game. It's a great way to start out the season, and I expect the Clippers to actually win that one. And if they don't, I think the Clippers will make the Lakers earn it, and we'll see something out of the Lakers that will hold true for the rest of the season. We'll see something real out of them. So I'm looking forward to it, but I like the Clippers to win that.
Got you. And in some of the NBA action for tomorrow night, there's a few games I picked out here and a few teams I thought were interesting, not just the games themselves. The Nuggets at the Blazers. And I'm going to ask this question to all of you all, but Double J, we'll start with you as far as the first response. The Nuggets at Blazers, could this potentially be, I know everybody's talking about Lakers and Clippers, a Western Conference Finals preview? And here's why I asked that. You want to talk about, as Brother Richard mentioned now, potential. I'm going to go on record right here, right now, and say, from an offensive standpoint, East or West, the Nuggets have potentially the most lethal offense in the entire league. Do I need to repeat that? I don't think so. Anybody that watch basketball, even casually, that's a word, will see that the Nuggets they will be able to score with anybody. But my question is, as always is the case with a lot of these new BA, today BA, basketball teams, who gonna stop somebody other than the Clippers in the West? Who really playing D? Because you all know, as we've said so many times before when we're talking basketball, you can do whatever you want to do in the 82 games regular season. And I'm gonna be really straight up with you. The NBA season really don't start till after the All-Star break. Let's be real. But come playoff time, there is a formula for the playoffs, a formula for success in the playoffs that you have to have those ingredients as a team going in. Because what did you say about the Rockets, for instance, Brother Rich, a couple years ago? Or was it last season or the season before last or the year, whatever year that was, not too long ago, and they blew that?
I will continue to maintain that.
Exactly.
Team led by James Harden
ain't going nowhere. Now, here's the killer part to what Brother Richard's saying. This is a little sidebar right quick, y'all, but it's really embodies what I'm talking about as far as the league in terms of defense and the lack thereof. And it's going to always be my stance. The Rockets, who can't the Rockets score with? So for all of they James Harden and his step backs and how many he dropping 60s and 50s and 2, 10, 12, 14, 20 games, what they got to show for it at the end? So I'm saying if he you know me, if he is what y'all say he is and these teams are what they say are, then you got the stuff on the other side got to match it at least, if not outweigh it. You know what I'm trying to tell you? So if the Clippers right now the only one playing defense, and I'm gonna say again about the Nuggets, their offense. If the Nuggets get any kind of defense, watch out. Then on the other side, the Blazers. I love Dame and CJ, not just for their individual abilities, but the fact that these two dudes play with a complementary style with each other. That's hard to find. You know how the Cavs used to do well before LeBron got here. I'm talking about in the 80s even. It was mind-boggling. They would make acquisitions for players, and they would be 12 guards deep. I'm like, why you got 12 guards? You ain't got no centers and forwards and all nothing. How you do? Or you add names and adding players to a roster, and everybody going off the name. Oh, they gonna be sweet because they got him. No, does that him that team or that player or that franchise got, is he complementary to the other he's? See what I'm saying? Them two dudes are complementary like nothing I've seen in quite some time. Now throw in Hassan Whiteside. Don't let them two dudes or one of them guys, and I think it will be CJ more so than Dame. Dame need to play off the ball. Let CJ bring the ball up, but that's just me. Let one of them two dudes, and again, let it be CJ, learn how to get Hassan Whiteside involved in the offense. That's all I'm going to say. Gully, what say you? Western Conference preview? I'm sorry, Double J. Western Conference preview, potentially? Nuggets and Blazers?
I'm gonna go with no. I mean, but they definitely are two playoff teams. I think everything about this game does say playoff. I think the atmosphere will feel like a playoff.
Got you.
Additionally, I'm intrigued to see what Malone does specifically at small forward with the rotation. That'll be it. You know, that's something that's not being talked about enough because he's got kind of a plethora of options there. The additions that Portland has added, if you recall with the injury last year in the playoffs, I think that halted everything. Otherwise, I truly believe they could have ousted the Warriors. Nevertheless, you got two, dynamic teams, and I believe honestly that Denver needs to win more than Portland does, simply to establish momentum, for the long haul.
Okay, I can live with that. Brother Rich, what about you? Nuggets, Blazers. What do you see from
I like the
these
Nuggets.
teams?
I like the Blazers. I'm a damn Lillard guy, and I think that Dame is, when he's on the court, anything can happen.
Gotcha.
And like you talked about their chemistry, I don't know that a team is as happy to play together and fits together in the league that's off the radar of the league national radar as much as the Trailblazers are. And so every year you're always finding out that they're in the mix when you don't think that they can be in the mix. And the fact that they always hang in the Western Conference tells you that that's not a team you can play around with.
Gotcha.
Denver is a team that has to coalesce now around a player that didn't play last year. They're getting back their star. We got to watch them and see how they come back together and watch them gel. But, of course, that's a young, dangerous team. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And, I'm glad you said that, Brother Rich, because let me be more specific about them Nuggets. That Porter and them back issues, I'm not going to lie. In the beginning, I said, man, you coming into the league and you got back issues? That ain't good, because we saw what back issues on the tail end did to Larry Bird. And we all know, just from getting older, back, knees, and I can't think of the other one, but once they start going, they going. They getting ready to go. They getting ready to be gone. So I was like, ooh, that don't look good. But if his back is anywhere healthy, ooh, my goodness, ooh, keep your eye on that guy, because you're talking about, what, rookie of the year maybe and whatnot, especially with Zion, and, that's his potential. I'm just saying, Gully, what say you, man, about these Nuggets and Blazers tonight? I'm sorry, excuse me, tomorrow
It
night.
is the best game. Yeah, it's going to be the best game that no one wants to watch, because again, these aren't the marquee, these aren't the games.
Exactly. This ain't the Lakers and the Clippers.
The NBA sell themselves. So yeah,
Exactly.
correct. And this is the league's fault, because actually you're getting the best action. You know what I mean?
Hold on.
Hold on.
You say the league's fault as in, we got parity, but we really ain't got parity because we too top heavy, always showing the Lakers and the Warriors. Like
no. They do have. That's what I'm saying. They do have parity. This matchup proves it. Think about it like this: weren't the Nuggets? Weren't the Nuggets the number one seed in the Western Conference last year?
I believe so. Were they, Double J?
Yes. Yeah, they were the number one seed.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah.
From start to
Cowboys
finish,
on
I think.
TV. Cowboys on TV every weekend, and their fans talking about parity.
What? Oh, Brother Rich, you know what, man? I'm going to mute your ass. Excuse me, because I done had about as much as I'm going to take from you in this Tony Romo talk, man. What is, your QBR is terrible. Go ahead, Gully, finish.
Yeah, so it's one of the best games that they don't pay attention to. Two of the more solid franchises in the league in terms of how they're built. They built 1 through 12, very good. They built very consistently. And while I don't know that this would be a Western Conference final, it would be a hell of a semifinal matchup. But I think the way the league shaped out, this will probably be your 3 and 6 going into the playoffs this year.
That's possible.
Be honest with you, but it's going to be a competitive from 1 to 7 though.
Yeah,
game 1 and game 7.
And for this next one, we'll stay with you, Gully. The Knicks at the Spurs. And here's 2 questions. One, of course, about the Knicks, and of course, one about the others. And I'm staying with you because you are a Spurs fan, been one for quite some time. But this first question is about the Knicks. Are they legit? Have you watched them in any of the exhibition games? Did you watch?
Unfortunately, I haven't.
Who said they have? Double J, that was you. Sound like you.
Yes, sir.
Man, I watched a couple of the Knicks games, man. I get it, it's just preseason. But I don't know who, Fizdale got them guys. I don't know. They giving an effort on defense that I ain't seen since who's opening up their Wendy's wrapper? Really? In the middle of a show? Really? That's how you gonna do me? Got you. Don't stop eating that stuff. It's terrible. It's nasty. It's not good for you. It's like Taco Bell meat. They get it off the ground. Yeah, talking about these fresh burgers. I got you. No, and wasn't a free plug either. But yeah, man, the Knicks are giving an effort. I've seen them give an effort on defense, man, throughout the whole exhibition season. I know the exhibition is only like, 7.5 games, 7.5 minutes. But I was impressed by what I saw from the effort. Now, I know that ain't saying much in terms of what they might be in the East this year, but are the Knicks legit? And for the Spurs, some of the national pundits are saying that the Spurs won't make the playoffs this year. So that's two questions for you. Are the Knicks legit, and will the Spurs make the playoffs this year?
The Knicks are actually making basketball, giving New York basketball something worth watching. Certainly, they're promising. But I mean, I know that's not a lot to, that ain't saying much. But
careful, Brother Rich over there. You know that's New Yorker. He already killed me on this.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Listen, no, Brother Rich, no. We're not gonna do this. You know why? Because we've been waiting for something looking like Patrick Ewing and Allen Houston since 1999, and it ain't came here yet. So you know what? If Browns fans had to wait 20 years through that nonsense and try to give tough love, so do Knicks fans. Listen, let me explain something to you real quick. Allow me to digress. I feel like, as a basketball fan, I know we talk about parity. I know I just alluded to something about the mishandling, if you will, of marketing. But I do feel like for as much talent, as much basketball talent is cultivated in New York City, there is something amiss about the fact that the preeminent, the Mecca of basketball, as it's called, doesn't have a team worthy of marketing. And the best player that they had for the last 5 years in Kristaps Porzingis is not there anymore. I feel like there's something that got to be fixed. Hopefully, Fizdale and what he's got going on is going to fix that. But I feel like it ain't really sitting right if the Knicks aren't competitive, and they haven't been really since 1999.
That's all good stuff. But let me tell you.
Suggest to you.
All right.
Let me
suggest to you and the listening audience.
Go ahead.
Jack.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was just going to say right quick, the reason why that I believe that New York is called the Mecca of basketball, I don't think it got nothing to do with Madison Square Garden as much as you do to Rucker. Okay? I mean, I'm just being real. You get more folks.
All right. All things considered, why is the sports franchise –
Well, in defense of the sports franchise, let's defend the sports franchise.
Why?
Here's what?
You don't let me
the Knicks.
You don't let me defend nothing.
The Knicks.
Now you want to defend something? Really?
The Knicks are.
Stop it.
You defend the Cowboys all the time.
I do not.
Regardless. But
man.
But here's the thing. The Knicks are. I would suggest to the listeners that the Knicks are where the Los Angeles Clippers were, right at the point where Donald Sterling was at the end of his ownership. He was a very wealthy man who the league was well aware of some of his problems, some of his issues, but he had so much money, he was so well entrenched in the community that he was a part of, so well entrenched as an owner. He had been in ownership for such a long time. This is what you have in New York with Dolan. Dolan is a terrible owner. Everybody knows it. He has made terrible decisions, and so having made and mismanaged the franchise, some of the things he's done to alienate the public, he has not attached the team to the community as a part of. He's alienated the whole New York City from the team. He did that. Unlike the Yankees and where Steinbrenner and his family kept the team aligned with the New York City values in public and kept it in the limelight. He did not do that. It was not to his benefit to do that. He kept his relationship with players, and that's what he saw. And so until and unless the team ownership changes, you can't expect that everything would systematically change throughout the organization. Fortunately, finally, over the last several years, you see some things happening now. And I agree with you, Jay. You keep an eye on the Knicks. I agree with you, Jay. Keep an eye on the Knicks.
Hey, but you know what, dude? I'm gonna say this too, right quick. Well, I'm gonna ask actually. Ter Stepien or James Dolan, who's worse, Brother Rich, in your mind, in your estimation?
James Dolan.
Woo! Yeah, that's bad.
Dolan. But here's why: because of exactly what Gully just told us. You're talking about the Mecca. You're talking about the God. You're talking about the Knicks not having been relevant in You have a whole generation of children that don't understand and have no relationship to when the garden was Eden, as you instructed me several years ago to go watch that documentary.
Yes.
You have a whole generation of people that have no recollection of that kind of time. You have a whole generation that's come up not
like
only
Browns
that does
fans.
not know Bernard King, doesn't know this, doesn't know that. They don't even know Patrick Ewing. They don't even know the era of Patrick Ewing. That's how long so much so that Dolan is the only owner in history that would have one of the star meat and potatoes franchise players attending the games, inspiring the fans, and he has them fought and escorted out by the security for all the world to see.
Yeah.
Who, as the young people say, who does that?
Digress. Double J, you got something to say on that one? Are the Knicks legit?
Oh, I've been waiting for that.
And no playoffs for the Spurs?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The best basketball coming out of the state of New York is actually coming out of Brooklyn, out of one of the boroughs.
What?
So let's cover that here.
You talking about the Nets?
I'm intrigued. What game did you watch other than the same old Knicks making the same old mistakes against the Atlanta Hawks? Come on.
Double J, hold
I'd
on.
love to give Trae Young all the credit in the world, and with his ability to read the court and to have the presence of mind to understand that he could get a 2-for-1 at the end of at a particular quarter. This game, I watched in agony for 5 minutes. I was a Knicks fan, hoping that they could win this preseason game, and it was just I wanted to pull my hair out.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't have hair to pull out. You was wrong for that hair reference, as Brother Richard is about the Cowboys, but I'll be to see y'all when my back get better. Second of all, I was not talking in terms of win-loss for the Knicks. I said, see, this y'all be misconstructionizing and misconstrualizing what I be saying sometimes. All I said was, did the Knicks show a better effort on the defensive end, the likes which we have not seen in the 20-something thousand years that they have been irrelevant? That's what I said, Double J. See, you and Brother Rich, y'all be wanting to pull me off into the whole doggone smorgasbord, and that's not gonna happen. I don't want.
Well, look,
no
this
Swedish.
Game is gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna interrupt you here.
Yeah, please do.
Because,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
What's going to draw a bigger defensive presence is the fact that the Knicks have gone as far as to say that they believe the Spurs tampered with Porzingis. In addition to that, you got the Marcus Morris saying that he should get booed by the Spurs fans as well, despite where the game, of course, is taking place not in New York but in San Antonio. So you have a little bit more than your average basketball game for different reasons.
Yeah.
Of course, if you remember, Marcus Morris was supposed to sign with San Antonio, and then he kind of made a quick U-turn and headed up north, or further north rather. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting. I do think that they'll come out to play. We'll see if Mitchell Robinson's going to play or not, but overall, I definitely think the Spurs start 1-0 here.
I'll tell you what, and to add to that, actually, the NBA is very paltry, I think, when it comes to their doggone parody. But what they are great for, they love keeping the storylines going. They are exceptional at the storylines. And what's my line when it comes to the storyline? The storylines have now created the game. They what the game is all about now. Whereas it used to be the game created the storyline, right? Yeah. NBA is great for headlines. Okay, Celtics at 76ers tomorrow night. Brother Rich, will one of these two rep the Eastern
marquee
Conference?
matchup in the East.
Yeah, let me finish.
Marquee matchup.
Could you let me finish, Mr. Dak Prescott? Will one of these two rep? Oh, stop it! Really? We might as well call me Kellen Moore. At least I know how to call plays. Will one of these two rep the Eastern Conference in this year's finals?
Absolutely. Marquee matchup in the East.
Who? Which one? Celtics or 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals? Book it right now, because we're recording here now. You know
Philly.
that, right?
Philly.
Oh,
Philly.
stop it.
Philly.
Ben Simmons
Philadelphia.
can't hit a bull in the backside with his jump shot still. And I don't want to see no more doggone individual highlight videos and nobody in front of him. A guy shooting a three, and all of a sudden everybody on Facebook and Twitter blowing it up, talking about some, oh, he got a 3-ball. Nah, he got a 3-ball. Prisoners of the momentary situational. Stop it. Double J. Well, one of these two, Celtics or 76ers, rep the Eastern Conference in this year's finals.
No.
I don't think so either. I'll tell you who I think is going to be in a minute when we get to these next two teams. Who do you think, by the way, will represent the Eastern Conference in this year's finals? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but humor me.
Well, I'm going to go small market here, and I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks.
You know what? We're going to go to Gully on that one. I wish I had a buzzer. You would have got buzzed right there. You know what? Go stand in the corner. My gosh, the Milwaukee Bucks. They're not going nowhere. Psych, I'm just kidding. Slow it down, fellas. Slow it down. But we will go to Gully. Gully, Celtics or 76ers, which one of these two in your mind rep the EC in this year's finals?
Neither.
Really? So who you have?
Yeah, neither.
Say the Bucks.
Milwaukee.
I dare you. Say the Bucks.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
You know what? I think you and Double J drinking some of that stuff that they got up there in Milwaukee, too. Some Pilsners or something. Man, stop. Cut me in or cut it out. Milwaukee. You know what? I don't know what it is. What make y'all say Milwaukee? Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Well, they added Brooke and Robin Lopez,
Uh-huh.
which I think is underrated. Adding Robin Lopez as a complimentary agitator and defender. They have the postseason experience. I mean, they went to the conference finals last year, so I think that means something for the East. They have the continuity, and I think talent-wise and depth and all, I think they have a complete team to be able to get it done. Will they meet the 76ers in the conference finals? Very likely, but I think they win. I think they win that series this year when they go to the finals.
Yeah, got you. What were you gonna say, Double J? Sound like you were
I was going to point out that Robin Lopez also undefeated against the mascot for the league.
Oh, you mean Robin Lopez, the sloth?
The sleeper pick. The sleeper pick is really the Indiana Pacers.
Doggone it, you stole my thunder. I cannot. You know what? You and Brother Rich are not going to be on next week's show. I think I'm going to go down to Shady Acres and pick two of the elderly and let them do the show next week. Why do you keep stealing my thunder? That's what I was going to next, man. Damn.
I don't think that's thunder, man. You called him a sleeper pick. Yeah, I'm taking a nap.
Really? So you in on. So hold. So you in the car with Brother Rich and Double J on this one, right? Well, I hope y'all Thelma and Louise.
You said sleeper pick.
I didn't say sleeper nothing.
Absolutely. I mean,
I didn't say sleeper pick. That's not what I said. I hope y'all get in the car with Thelma and Louise too. Yeah. I didn't say sleeper pick. No, I didn't. I said Double J stole my thunder when he mentioned the Pacers. Double J, you know I'm muting you. You're muting you, right? You know that you're done. You muted for 6.5 minutes. I really couldn't tell you who coming out the East this year. I just think the East is wide open. But I will say this, and this is the next game we get into.
So you give no credit to y'all. None of y'all hear what I'm telling y'all about Philadelphia. And let me ask you a question. And I'll just throw this out here for all the listeners and for all our co-hosts.
Okay.
Now,
how many co-hosts we got? Dang.
I'll just say that. I'll just say this. I personally didn't even know we still had a team in Milwaukee until Giannis Antetokounmpo got there. I didn't even know that. And so if you take him off the team, we don't know nothing about them. The Philadelphia 76ers have a team. They have a squad in place. And so the question becomes, are they not to factor into this conversation at all? Just because this is the team I see them. The Milwaukee Bucks are the Houston Rockets of the Eastern Conference. I rest my case.
Yeah, you know what?
Wow, that's a strong statement.
No, actually, Brother Rich, I got to give you some peas on that one because I was kind of thinking the same thing, but not in those exact words. I see that too.
They are the Houston Rockets.
But let me say
Please
this.
Elaborate.
But let me say this too. No. What's already understood need not be elaborated on. or should be understood.
No, it's not understood.
Hold
that
on.
makes
That's
no
what I said.
sense
That's
to
what I
me, how
said.
you can
That's
say
what
a
I said.
team
What
as deep as Milwaukee is
because I'm getting ready to tell you.
the Houston.
I'm getting ready to tell you. You said elaborate. I said what should already be understood need not be elaborated on. Let me pick my words carefully. I'm going to elaborate for Brother Rich if I could. It's 3 words for all 722 teams in the NBA. Style of play. See, too often we get caught up in whose name is on the roster, right? But the name don't necessarily always translate or equate to the success of. Because if that were the case, I'll pick a guy like a Ben Wallace, for instance, who arguably played the center position better than, if not equal to, a lot of the centers that you might see on NBA basketball, pro basketball reference, who everybody talking about Hall of Fame and all of that type of stuff. You get what I'm trying to tell you? It's the eye test is the best test called litmus. You understand what I'm saying to you, man? So again, style of play. Do the Bucks have on paper a championship roster? Absolutely. Their style of play, anything but. Sorry, even though they were in the Eastern Conference Finals that year and last year, and that ain't really saying much now. But let me go back to the Sixers right quick. Brother Rich, that is my only point in them. Do they have the same type, and do they have the metal, M-E-T-T-L-E, am I saying that right? More so than the Bucks? I believe they do. But here's the kicker. Until I see them.
Did you see Did you see Joel Embiid coming? The pictures of him coming off the court crying last year?
Yeah, no. Listen, I'm not.
Did you see
Listen,
that?
no. Listen, I
Okay.
saw it. No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not. I'm not saying from an individual standpoint what's going to motivate me in the upcoming season. You and I talk about that. How many times did I go to talk to you about going to the Rucker and getting my ass handed to me, but yet and still turn around the next day going back up there after I got embarrassed in front of all the. You see what I'm trying to tell you? So yeah, that's an individual thing.
If Ben Simmons does not ball out this year, he'll be written off as a scrub.
Okay, but wait a minute.
You got.
Wait a minute.
This is probably one of the most immensely talented teams in the league.
Yes.
That has done. That has not
fallen
lived
short
up to the billing
yes
up to this point.
But let me say this though. Here's the deal though with Ben Simmons. If you and this is why I say style of play is so critical in the NBA basketball period, because Embiid too often late in games, especially late in the season and in the playoffs, where it really shows itself. Embiid was up top and Ben was down low in the painted area where Embiid wanted to be, but he couldn't be because Ben can't shoot a jump shot. That's what I mean by style of play. Is Ben Simmons 6'9" and 2, whatever it is, and all the measurables? Yes. Is Embiid? Yes. You check off all the boxes, you can check them all off green. But if your point guard cannot be where your center is in crucial or critical moments, he clogs everything up, man. Ben Simmons' inability to hit a consistent jump shot. Everybody talk about 3. I don't give a crap about the 3. I'm talking about a consistent jump shot, making the defense have to guard me. When the defense can sag off of you or clog the lane, then it clogs up everything that it's hard to run an offense. Am I lying, Double J? If I am, just say yes or no. Tell me I'm lying. And I'll take it in a different direction.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I think the fact that they're running him as a point guard is actually going to be more detrimental than it is going to be impactful.
I think so too. I'm not saying Philly's not capable, because they are, but the way they played them two together is going to hurt it. That hurt them last year.
And this flaw, as critical as you are making it, despite this flaw, you think they'll represent the East in the NBA Finals?
That ain't what I said. I asked the question of you all. Who did you think? I asked which one of these two would be in this year's finals?
They're going to represent, because
Brother Rich
when
said
he sees the flaw, I see that as a very fixable issue. That's all I see that as.
Well, that's what the off season is for.
By what Ben Simmons has committed to doing, and that is getting a jump shot so that people cannot play off you. Yes, you got great ball handling skills. Yes, you can pass. Yes, you can get to the basket. But the fact that you have no jumper to save your life, you see, and your family's life means you are a liability on the basketball court. So if you get just a semblance of a jumper, says now with you playing, this is what LeBron had to do. Other players have had to do this. So this is why I'm saying if Ben Simmons does not improve his game substantially, because he has read every critique. These are knowledgeable players nowadays. They know what everybody's saying about them, and he knows what everybody has said about him, that he has spent too much time with them. And Jay, I told you some of this off air. These young players come in the league the first year, they get caught up on certain things, and they lose themselves. And they have to make a determination that, look, I'm going to take this thing seriously. And I believe Ben Simmons is there. He's going to take it seriously. He's committed himself, and he has worked out, and he's worked on his jumper, much like why I thought it was good for, and we talked about this again, why we thought it was good for the young Laker players to go out to New Orleans, go out to a small market team, get cleaned out, air out, get away from all the noise, and get yourself together, improve. You can play, focus just on basketball again, and then you'll be okay.
Okay, so
that's what's happening with Ben Simmons, and I think that you all should keep an eye on it.
Okay, so let me throw this out here to you all, Brother Rich. I'm with you. I'm not saying that you cannot change, but here's the caveat. I believe if you have a bad habit, and you've been having that bad habit for 15 years, and you decide to change that bad habit, you think it's going to take you 15 minutes to change what you've been doing bad for 15 years? That's just one point. Then I'm going to use a boxing.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Then I'm going to use boxing as a reference. What is Mike Tyson famous for saying? It's a lot of guys look good shadow boxing. A lot of guys look good throwing a jab at air and in the mirror. But when they get in the ring and they get hit in the nose one time, what do? They go right, you revert right back to what you used to. So, look.
Here's the difference, Jay. Here's the difference with the sport that we're talking about. And this is why
I'm saying reverting back to old habits. I'm saying reverting back to old habits once you get into the thick of things. It's easy to do it when you're in the gym by yourself to look good. But when you get in live action and you miss one, it's going to be in his head.
I'm with you on that, but here's the issue. Is it your contention that at no point in time in his basketball life, Ben Simmons could hit a jump shot? Because I contend with that. In fact, Ben Simmons.
Did you watch him at LSU?
He was initially.
No. Did you watch him at LSU?
Here's why we did not. But here's why I did not concern myself with him at LSU, because Ben Simmons didn't even take LSU seriously, and he by his own admission, he detested being at LSU. He resented his entire time there. He didn't even want to play on the team. He resented the fact he even had to go through the process. LSU was just a stopover for him. He didn't even take basketball seriously. He's just taking basketball seriously this summer for the first time in probably the last 4 years. These are facts.
Okay, then he better hurry up. He better hurry up, because guess what? Time don't wait for nobody. And if you ain't taking your craft serious, if you're not taking,
I opened my defense of him by saying that he has this year to go, or else he's going to be proven he's going to be written off as a scrub.
All right,
he either does it this year or he's done as a scrub.
Okay, yeah. So in other words, Ben Fultz.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, got you. Who wanted to say something? Somebody else want to say something?
No, here's my problem. Actually, is not just it's the lack of depth. So you're talking about a team that last year had
J.J. Redick is gone,
a bench.
Yeah.
So they still you lose JJ.
Covington is gone.
Fultz, even though again that's not regardless of anybody's opinion. Additionally, you've lost basically just about everyone. Jimmy Butler as well. Most importantly.
Yeah, you mean Markel Olowokandi? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the point is here, you have a very limited team. They don't even have a sixth man. Now, speaking of that, I would feel quite a bit different here if they would say go down memory lane and maybe grab some ex-Bulls like Jamal Crawford. I think I'm quite shocked and appalled that he's not signed at the moment. Maybe Luol Deng and Joakim Noah even. Because right now the sixth man spot and the backup point guard specifically is a very big question mark for Philly.
I'll tell you what, if the Sixers sign Luol, I'll be like, dang. Continue.
But until then, I can't look at a team with the only addition being Al Horford. That's not going to wow me.
No, it's
all
not.
that did was great. You got another aging vet that's average.
Whoa!
Ben Simmons.
Whoa! Al Horford played at a high level last year. Al Horford probably, I think it's both ways.
the way I see it right now is you insert Derrick Rose into the Pistons starting lineup, and you sit down Reggie Jackson, and I like the Pistons over the Sixers. I like Dre over Embiid, or at least they're a wash. They're the same. I like Blake Griffin over Al Horford, and I like Derrick Rose over Ben Simmons when it comes to actually running as a true point guard.
Okay, you know what? Speaking of the Pistons, that's what we're going to go to next before
See,
we move.
That's
before we move
dirty. That's that dirty Flint water that he's been drinking.
No.
Dirty. What part of the world you live?
No.
Dirty water you've been
No.
drinking. No. You muddied up your brain.
No. Well, that's
all analytical mind. Poor fella.
That's all the water all around the world. But no, actually, that's what we're going to go to next here before we move into some NFL. The Pistons at the Pacers. And here's my question. I'm glad you brought that up, Double J, because guess what? Despite all the cowboy innuendo, crap, garbage, bull, I don't even know where that came from, I have to agree with you. I like Derrick Rose in terms of him understanding how to play the position. Does he still, to some degree, play with a violence that makes me cringe, even all the way back to the days of Memphis? Yes. But his understanding of the position, and he has an ability to do the things that Ben Simmons cannot. So I'm with you on that. Blake Griffin, still a big body. I get it. Dre Drummond, I'm 50-50 on that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got to be at least better than 50% from the free throw line, because that's going to be required upon. If you're going to get to the playoffs and advance to the playoffs, those things are attributes you must have. The playoffs say you got to have these 5 things, whatever those 5 things are for you. You got to have these 5 things. If you're deficient in 3 of those 5 things, then you're going to get sent home early, far more often than you won't. But yeah, Pistons at the Pacers. And so here's the question to you, Double J, since you bring that up. Are you buying the Pistons? Sounds like you are. And on the Pacers side of things, does the return of Oladipo signify a deep playoff run for these Pacers? And I think you're going to say yes to both, even though you stole my thunder. And I'm not talking about the ones from OKC. But go ahead, have your say.
Well, I definitely am going to agree with both points here. I am buying the Pistons. My concern is actually more so off of the bench. I like Christian Wood. I think that's somebody that can make a lot of noise, and that nobody. He's going to be that off the radar player that nobody's talked about. You're going to, at least at this point, you're going to hear it first here, literally. However, the Pacers, again, they're a very complete team. So if you look at how we've really diagnosed most of these teams, it's been about their deficiencies. And presently, you really don't have a lot with Indiana. They're not great from top to bottom, but they're consistent from top to bottom at being good. And additionally, they are when it comes to the fundamentals, they are sound. So I think that this is a team that may catch the casual fan. Yeah, exactly. And it comes down to coaching. So I'm going to give all the credit in the world to Nate and what he's been able to do up to this point. And let's face it, I actually think they have some expectations this year.
I think so, too. And if I had to have a say, when we went back to that Philly and Celtics thing, I'm rolling with the Pacers this year. I'm an Oladipo fan. If Oladipo can come back and be 75 to 80% of what he was before he got hurt, I like the Pacers. Even though they lost a couple of people, too. I forgot who they lost. Who'd they lose? Oh, I can't think of the guard's name. Sorry. But anyway, they still got their core intact.
My point exactly.
What?
My point exactly.
Wait, you're talking about Sabonis?
No, they didn't lose Sabonis. They still got Sabonis, don't they?
My point exactly.
Brother, it's you the one that said spoke highly of Nate McMillan last year.
No,
Oh wow, really?
No, my issue is that my issue is like this.
Stop.
I still speak highly of him. I still would. My issue is this.
You said you liked the Pacers.
You got
when they went up against the Cavs.
You got lightweight. Yes. But here's the thing. Now, when you're talking about them in a heavyweight fight, no, I don't like them in a heavyweight fight. I think the Eastern Conference Finals is a heavyweight fight. I don't like the Pacers in that. I don't. I'm sorry.
All right,
I
that's
like
fair.
them as a team that'll show and prove that they're a great team and can challenge I don't like him in a heavyweight fight. I don't.
All right,
I think
that's
that
fair.
In a heavyweight fight, give me Joel Embiid. In a heavyweight fight in the Eastern Conference Final, give me Joel Embiid and give me Ben Simmons with something to prove. Give
All
me
right,
that.
that's fair.
Give me, because
That's fair.
the NBA this year is about not big threes, it's about big twos, and what your two is gonna be, because there's 5 people on the court at one time. This year is about what you gonna bring with your two.
Okay,
Let's see what you
whoa.
got.
What'd you say?
That's why you talked about New York and the Rucker and all that.
Yeah.
It's about what you got. Let me see what your two against my two. So
Yeah.
that's why we're watching tonight. We're going to see Paul George. Well, he's not there, but the Lakers is Paul George and Kawhi against LeBron and AD. Let's be honest. That's what it is.
Okay, all right.
That's why you mentioned Dame Lillard and this.
Yeah,
and that.
yeah.
That's what the league is this year.
Yeah, but guess what,
so
though?
Philadelphia, no, this year it's Joel Embiid and him. That it's their run.
Yeah, and here, yeah,
This is the one time I'm going to disagree with Brother Rich. And
Really?
And you better write
Really?
it down, because it
I
probably
don't
won't
need
be
to. It's
until
being recorded.
2020 until that happens.
yeah. I don't need to write it down like RITE. I'm not writing nothing down. It's being recorded. Go ahead.
But the
The
point Brother Rich
shenanigans.
is making is that it's a star-driven league, and unfortunately, other than Oladipo, he's absolutely right. When it comes to the Pacers, they're not star-studded, but they have incredibly sound players. You're looking at from nearly top to bottom. This rotation is deep. This is probably one of the deepest teams in the entire NBA, which is incredible to say that it's coming from the Indiana Pacers.
Okay, so let me say this.
You're looking at an old 76er, all the way from T.J. McConnell, T.J.
Yep.
Warren, Malcolm
Yep.
Brogdon,
Yep.
Jeremy Lamb.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And you know what? That's a very good point, because that's what.
You're making my argument. You're making
No.
my argument for me, and I agree with everything you just
No,
said.
no. Let
You
me.
just made my argument for me.
No,
I
no.
absolutely agree.
No, he didn't. Let me tell you why.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you why. Yes, it is a star-driven league, but it's always two sides to every coin. It's depending on what side you're rolling with. On the flip the coin over, what Double J is saying is something I've said on more than one occasion. We've talked about when we talk basketball. Gully, I'll let you weigh in here in a second. George Karl said 3 years ago on NBA TV, he said, where are we at in the league now where the idea and the philosophy when building the team is go get a star and then try to build a team? He said, that's bass-ackward, my word. Putting the cart before the horse, his words. He said, whatever happened to build a team and let a star emerge? That's what the Pacers are. Does that guarantee anything? No, but I'll take that team any day when you have a team, because
I disagree with you.
Hold on. I said I'll let you weigh in a minute, Gully. Hold on. I ain't set the timer yet. Slow down there, Kimosabe, young fella. Hold on. Because at the end of the day, the team, once you get into the playoffs, that weighs a lot. The year that the Spurs 4-1 the Miami Heat were star-studded, right? The Spurs had a couple stars, a few aging stars. But you know what they did have that the Heat didn't? I almost said something that the Heat didn't have. The Spurs bench, and Gully, you know this, outscored Miami's entire team. I'm just going to say the Spurs bench averaged how many points in that series? Averaged. How many points? 45.
Oh, wow.
See what I'm saying? Now, am I sitting here trying to tell you that this year's Indiana Pacers are a version of the 2014 San Antonio Spurs? No, I'm not. But then nobody here on this program, but there's a few folks out there that's listening who all they get is their information from Facebook and Twitter. They swear up and down. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm not. So let me make that clear and with some clarity here, right here. What I am saying is, give me that formula. I'll take that formula anytime and every time, because guess where that formula comes from, Brother Rich? The Rucker. And guess what the Rucker is when it comes to basketball, whether it's New York, Chicago, L.A., Atlanta. Roots. You know what I'm saying? And this is your man Black Thought speaking.
In a court of law, if the Cowboys said my name in a court of law, like you just said, I would have to respond to that. So I'm asking you, can I respond to that since you said my name? Because
first of all, Gully wanted to weigh in, and second of all, this is not a court of law. This is a court of public opinionaries. Go ahead, Gully. But I'll let you say something, Brother Rich. After Gully, go ahead and say his piece. Can you keep it brief, Gully?
No, please, Gully. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because he's probably gonna say what I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
No, he ain't gonna say that.
Well,
Ain't nobody talking crazy on this program, but y'all.
No, first of all, I've been holding this in for about 15 minutes now.
What you mean, first
that
of all?
That dang joke that you made or pathetic tip at it, you need to be in timeout, Jay, for that. I don't know how Double J and Brother Richard, I don't know how y'all let him get away with that. I don't know how y'all let him get away with that. Host or not,
really?
And there's a floor to certain things, and you hit the floor hard. You hit the floor with a bowling ball, and it was tile. You understand me?
Says the guy who used to wear. Says the guy who used to wear a helmet till he was 28. But anyway, hello, I got the mute button over here. You don't get fly with the gator. You don't talk smack to the gator till after you cross the river. Didn't they tell you that in third grade? You don't do that. Anyway, continue.
The question I wanted to ask for you guys as we dived deeper into the makeup of the different teams and the promise and the prospects and the promise of the Eastern Conference.
Sound good.
Which of these do we have any realistic expectations? Which of these teams actually are a contender to win it all? Not just make it out of the East. I mean,
none.
Right? That's been
none. No, ain't no team in the Eastern Conference.
There's no one team. There's no one team out the East, whether it be Philadelphia or Milwaukee, and no scenario where they can actually win the title.
And then you had the nerve. You had the nerve to repeat the question like I didn't hear what you said the first time. Man, please don't insult my intelligent
because you cut me off, so I had to make sure. You know what I mean?
My intelligent
right?
Yeah, right. Got you. Don't insult my intelligent-ness. Look here. None. You want me to say it to you in Spanish? No. Nada. Not going to happen. Brother Rich, what you got to say? I see you sitting over there twiddling your thumbs. What you got to say? Stop it.
Here's my retort to you, gentlemen. It's very simple. Very simple.
Oh, really?
I know that our Midwestern friends and colleagues on this line and our friends in Dallas want our listeners.
How is the Dallas got anything to do with the Midwest?
I'm just saying.
Dallas ain't got nothing to do with
I'm just responding.
Oh, my God.
I'm just responding to the audience, to our listening audience. We have to respect everybody.
Dallas ain't got nothing to do with the Midwest.
We have people that listen in Dallas.
Yeah. Right.
We have people that listen in Dallas.
You sound like the people in Cleveland talking about Akron is Northeast Ohio. Anyway, go ahead.
To our friends in Dallas, I would say this. I know that you all want us to believe that the Indiana Pacers are this team that's built from the ground up, but this is how it's supposed to be done. And I would challenge anybody that's listening that has never happened in the modern NBA. In the modern NBA, the teams have superstars. Whether that person emerges to be Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and whatever, and then they ultimately have to add a superstar or LeBron and his big three. But the fact remains.
I gotta cut you off. No, I gotta cut you off. No, I gotta cut you off. Let me tell you. No. Let me tell you. No, let me tell you why I gotta cut you off. Let me tell you why I gotta cut you off. Because you mentioned Steph Curry and you talking about the Warriors. Correct me if I'm wrong. That core was built. Steph Curry nor Klay Thompson in particular were not the players that.
Remember, in the interest of time, I also neatly stitched together that they ultimately had to bring in and create what was called a super team to make what we talked about.
Before they became a super team, they won titles.
But Jay, they only won one. And they had to when they got beat by a quote unquote super team, they had to realize this is what the league was. We got to go form a super team.
How they get beat by a super team? How they get beat by a super team? The Cavs had Kyrie and LeBron. They wasn't no super team.
No, Jay. No. But here's what I'm saying.
Are you talking about the Raptors?
Remember I'm saying the idea of what LeBron was forming was the idea of super teams. That was the era of you got a super team. Everybody, not just LeBron. Everybody was. And I'll go before LeBron, as I've told you off here. I go back to the Boston Celtics, where they started the quote-unquote super team, the big three, and kept on. Nevertheless, I know we want to look at Indiana as a team that's built from the ground up, and that they are this team that is we're to look at them this out. So we've done. I defy anybody on this line to show me the last time a 6'4" shooting guard, led anybody to an NBA championship.
Well,
Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, I was going to say Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton.
When was that?
2004.
That's why I asked you. When was that?
What difference do it make? What difference do it make when it happened?
Chauncey
It happened.
Billups, 2004. Tony Parker was 6'2" in 2007.
No, you're
2000,
not going to use Tony
Mario
Parker.
Chalmers. Mario Chalmers.
That was not Tony Parker's team.
Hold on.
He only won the Finals MVP in 2007. Yeah,
Right.
no. Tony Parker won the Finals MVP in 2007.
Yeah, but it was not his team. You think of that as Tim Duncan's team.
Okay, all right. Then let me challenge you the very next year. The very next year, the Boston Celtics acquired Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, and they won the NBA Finals. Who was the MVP of the NBA Finals in 2008?
Kevin Garnett.
Who was the MVP? Who was the Finals MVP? Who was the Finals MVP?
Again, but again, it doesn't matter. Here's why.
It was Paul Pierce.
Yes, but here's what I'm telling you. It's looked at as that was a big three. That was the big three. People use that to this day. Well, they did it. The Boston Celtics did it because you had all of that fire. Remember, go and look at the backstory to that. Kevin Garnett, by his own admission, never wanted to be traded there. He was angry that he was there. And he had to be sold on the idea that this is the big three and y'all were going to do this and blah, blah, blah. That was the whole idea that we're going to get together. We're going to bring all these powers together. We're going to win this ring. And they did that. So, yes, I know that happened. We know that Paul Pierce. Yes, here's what I'm asking you. Jay is pointing out to us a team that's organically built. And I'm asking you all to show me the last time a team organically built that did not have what was considered a superstar that won the title. Now,
the Golden State Warriors.
Detroit, 04.
The Golden State Warriors.
Steph Curry was not. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were not at that point considered superstars, which is why
absolutely not.
This is a beautiful segue into why I agree with Jordan. Why I agree that Jordan said that Steph Curry is not a Hall of Famer in and of himself.
Oh my God, man! Stop it, man! Hold it!
You took the bait. He was gassing.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, he sure was.
That's why I agree with him, because I want to gas him up too, because I believe that Steph Curry still got some more to show.
Okay, hold it.
I agree. He got to win his own rings now, not with nobody else. Go win the ring yourself.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay, that's okay.
You now y'all go back and win some more rings.
Okay, but hold on. I'm going back to before you win a ring. What I'm saying is, show me a championship team that didn't have some built-in components to it. You're not going to have a whole championship team that was all strictly bought. Throughout the NBA history, since we've been watching, you have to build a core. At the end of the day, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green were not household names per se, even though we knew what Steph was at Davidson. It was still question marks about all three of them guys when they got to the Warriors. See what I'm saying? Then you add a few pieces. You can add a Ron Harper and a Dennis Rodman and whatever the case may be. But either way it go, every one of them dudes that won championship teams at some point on them teams was drafted guys. I'm not saying that the Pacers is going to be this or the Pacers ain't going to be that. All I'm saying to you is you can when you build it, you're better off when you build it than you are trying to buy it. Now, how is that a lie?
Because there's more sustainability when you build it, which is why.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. Every championship team has some component that was built.
Draymond Green, right. People may not think much of Draymond Green. They probably have a high regard for Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. But the thing about it is the continuity of those guys being drafted with Golden State and developing.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
In Golden State is the foundation for sustainability.
Your argument would be. Gully, your argument would be valid except for the fact.
What about OKC? What about OKC when Kevin Durant? What about OKC when Kevin Durant and James Harden and Russell Westbrook was in OKC?
Jay, we don't do aboutism. We're doing actual facts here. Listen to this. Actual facts. Gully, your argument is sustained except for this fact. Except for the fact that organic team that was built went in the locker room and was crying and got on the phone and called a superstar and said, man, come and help us, man. Come and be with us and help win a ring. And then everybody got on that superstar, and that was wrong. Why you go to that team? They won 71 rings. So don't give me that argument.
Well, hold on. But before Kevin Durant ever came over there. Kevin Durant came over there. Hold on.
Durant called them.
Thank you. Not only did he.
Yeah, that conversation. No, history. Yeah, history. Listen, hey, history is written by history is written by those who have a narrative that want to control it. You want to hate the Golden State Warriors for the fact that they acquired a league MVP who, in his own right, should have been able to.
Celebrated the Golden State Warriors winning rings. I don't have no problem with Golden State.
Wait a
Warriors.
minute. So hold on.
But the narrative to vilify them. No, the narrative to vilify them is saying that they was too.
Vilified them.
No, not you. The consensus, not you. The consensus is that they lost to the Cavs when the Cavs were really healthy, and so they went and re-upped with Kevin Durant.
Thank you. Now, hold on, Gutty. Hold on. I'm glad you mentioned that. Just want to throw this in right quick. Did they not win 73 games that year? So that's what I don't understand. People want to mention how many games they won, how such fantastic it was.
They did.
Okay, and they was up 3-1 in that series without Kevin Durant.
They did.
They was up 3-1 in that series against the Cavs without Kevin Durant. And guess what really befell them?
Why didn't they just stay organic?
Listen,
then you're making the argument that Stephen A. and all everybody else made. That was the point. Just stay that organic and go again next year. Why get on the phone and call or have?
Because everybody else was loading up. Everybody else is loading up.
That's the point.
Okay. Listen, everybody else is loading up.
My case.
But listen,
I would look at the jury and say, I rest my case.
Okay, but let me say this. So you telling me
everybody else was loading up.
without Kevin Durant, the Golden State Warriors were what, 21-95 or something?
No. I'm telling you, without Kevin Durant, they don't become this team that everybody looks at and says, "Oh my God."
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
This is unfair. They don't become that team that everybody knew was going to win the ring easily when they played the Cavs and Kevin Durant came down.
I don't know. Because if that's the case, if Kevin Durant made such the difference, on that team, then he should have stayed as an Oklahoma City, because he could have won with Westbrook and James Harden too. Because the league recognized them as top tier players too.
Built. He knew he needed to go to a better situation.
But the Warriors was organically built before he went over there.
No.
But they were.
But they had more superstar potential because they had Steph Curry and they had Klay Thompson.
Okay, wait. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're not talking about potential. Ain't that what you said? We're talking about where the Warriors before Durant got there organically built.
Again, I don't deal in that. I deal in absolute.
So it was absolute then. Were the Warriors organically built before Kevin Durant got over there?
We can look at it as a fact that Kevin Durant did not win in Oklahoma City, and we can look now to see why did he win. He did not win because we now can look and see, this is why, because Westbrook was that kind of player. We can look at Harden, that Harden was that.
We're not talking about what kind of player they are. Were the Warriors organically built before Kevin Durant got there? Yes.
Then why did they need Kevin Durant?
I don't know why. I don't know why LeBron felt like he needed Dwayne Wade when he was the best player in the league. But we don't know why the players do what they do.
They needed him because everybody was loading up. That's why they needed him.
Brother Rich. Were the Showtime Lakers a super team?
Absolutely, without a doubt, no doubt.
Were they organically built?
Absolutely not. Come on, the Lakers.
Well, how come they weren't organically built? The only Hall of Famer that they traded for was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They drafted Magic Johnson. They drafted James Worthy.
But let me show you why they went out organically, though. Let me show you why. Because the Lakers were to go again. We have history to go look at. We don't have to guess about this. Go look at the contract that at the time that actually the Lakers could have broken apart on more than one occasion based on what those players, based on their marquee value, were owed. Bus put them out in the public market so that they could make money in the L.A. market so they didn't have to take big contracts and move to other cities. Also, Bus went against the league by giving Magic a $25 million contract to tie him up with the Lakers so that he would perpetually be a lifetime Laker when all the other owners were angry at him because he understood that he had to do everything he could based on being the Lakers. No other franchise could do that.
Are you talking
were
about
they organically built?
Wait a minute.
That's the question. Were they organically built?
Him giving a handsome contract to his. You talk about the Lakers giving a handsome contract.
Okay, so did the
to a veteran on their team?
Did the 1980s Lakers win with all bought stars? Were every person that played on the Lakers in 1980 were they bought or brought in?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, they were organically
Absolutely not,
built.
Kareem.
They were outside from. That's what he's saying.
But
So
Jay,
look,
of course they were organically built. But again,
and that's all I
Again.
said. No team that
Like
won an
Jordan.
NBA championship is not devoid of some element being organically in place.
I mean, you can
All
call
right,
a
so let's
Rodman
continue.
acquisition. You can call a Rodman acquisition to the 96-98 Bulls. You might fit that one in like Kevin Durant, perhaps. But then the foundation of that team was their coach.
But Gully,
There you go. The foundation of that team was brought in through the draft. That's my point. Thank you for using that word. The foundation of every team has some element of some draft to it.
Also, so you all
except the Detroit Pistons. Except the Detroit Pistons.
Well, yeah, that's
Listen
true.
to this. I will concede to your argument because you benefit from learning.
No.
So I concede to your
No,
both of your arguments.
no,
that
no.
okay, we got to go back to the 80s now to show teams, the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s to show teams. Okay, I actually concede that. Again, I'm asking you all, gentlemen, like the young people who are listening, the modern era, gentlemen, I'm asking you once again.
You mean the
Show
same
me
folks
a
wearing
team
with their
in the
pants?
modern
You talking about the
era.
modern era people that's wearing their
Bill.
pants down behind
Show me a
behind?
team in the modern era built in the way that you all are asking us that a team should be built. Like
The
y'all want
Golden
to-
State Warriors.
We're not saying
Golden State Warriors.
I'm not saying 1 through
Again, Gully,
15.
then you would have to show me. You would have to show me the Klay Thompson and the Steph Curry because remember.
Yes, because there is the because listen
he's not original
because
in that
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother Rich. Go ahead.
Oladipo is not an original Indianapolis Pacer. You know that, right? We agree on that.
No,
So
he
that
was
you
traded.
have to show
He was
me-
traded.
Yes. So, but we're talking about organically built. So I'm asking you to show me on in the Indiana Pacers. Show me the Klay Thompson and the Steph Curry and the Draymond Green, because that's what you're talking about, organically built.
Okay.
So let's
Yes.
talk about them, because that's what y'all telling
Yes.
me. They're the organically
You
built
just brought up.
team now.
You just brought up.
That's what
You just brought up Victor Oladipo, right? Has an example, perhaps of.
Hold on, Gully. Hold on, Gully. Hold on. Double J, you still with us?
Yeah, I did want to point out briefly that Gully had said that the Pistons weren't 100% or were 100% organic. That wasn't necessarily true. They made that trade for Rasheed Wallace.
No. I know. That's what I.
No, he said only the Pistons.
He
He said only the Pistons weren't organically built.
Only the Pistons.
He
weren't
said only the
organically
weren't.
built
He said
because
only the
they-
Pistons weren't.
Yeah, Rip Hamilton was
Right.
Hamilton was acquired, but however, I think further context needs to be added. Victor Oladipo was made available not because as a free agent he went to Indiana, but because the Oklahoma City Thunder did not find.
Does your explanation help your conversation?
Yeah, because
Or is it for
we're
your
talking about.
edification?
No, it should be helpful for both of us because Victor Oladipo arriving in Indiana wasn't a case of Indiana
Does that
getting a free
define
agent. It was
organic based on what you gave us and what Jay
absolutely it should
Is that
define organic. Yes, absolutely it should define organic because he was on a team
Gully,
in Oklahoma
organic
City.
based on what y'all are telling me.
He's saying did the
Based
Indiana
in
Pacers
the
draft
case
Oladipo? That's what he's saying.
No.
Thank you.
Organic.
We didn't do that. That's not organic.
No.
Listen.
No. Hold on. Let me
Go
define
ahead.
for you organic. Let me define for you organic.
Please.
The idea of organic is a direct contrast to acquiring star players at the height of their stardom to win a title, which is what the Heat did in 2003.
Thank you.
Which is what the Celtics did in 2008.
What?
So you're saying the ownership can trade because the ownership trades, that's organic. But if the player does it, that's not organic.
That's not what we're
That's what
talking
LeBron
about. That
said.
ain't
Why
got.
can the owners trade me and I can't do
How
it?
can the player trade himself? We're not talking. Come on now. Come
what
on,
I'm saying,
nah,
Jay,
man. Come on
Jay,
now.
What I'm saying is he's saying if Oladipo is traded, that's still considered organic. But if a player
you
is
consider-
at the end of
go
his
ahead.
contract,
Yep.
If I'm at the end of my contract, like Kevin Durant was, remember, gentlemen, Kevin Durant was at the end of his contract. He owed no obligations. He looked around the country. They flew out to meet him in Hampton. Y'all remember the conversation? They flew a private plane. The
Yeah.
three of them with Steve Kerr. And they asked him, man, come be with us. And he looked around and he decided to sign with them. And everybody was mad. Why you sign with them? That's organic. He's allowed to do that. Why is that not organic? We didn't look at that as organic because people started us stacking the debt. So if it's
how's that organic though?
Not organic. How is it that one of the remember now the Indiana Pacers are connected to one of the greatest basketball minds in the modern era. Larry Bird was the one that orchestrated all that stuff out there. So let's be honest. So he is the one that put all that stuff together. So if he knew what he was looking at, he knew talent. So that's why I like the Pacers, because they are organically, like you gentlemen like to use, they're structured properly. They're organically built like they're supposed to be organically built. So
I cannot believe you even asking me that. I cannot believe you. I'm going to pull up the show from 4 years ago. From 4 years ago, I'm see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You know what, man? You know what, man? Anyway, the number to call is because he know I was getting ready to go with that. Yeah, all right. Yeah, the number to call if you're up and around out and about, want to give us a shout is area code 267-687-0026. The number again is area code 267-687-0026. We will be moving on to our NFL talk. I only picked a few games from the Week 7 in NFL to discuss here. You know what I mean? We will get back to the Indiana Pacers and stuff on the next show because I will pull that up from 4 years ago. But anyhow, Double J, we're going to come to you on this one, seeing how you were so patiently waiting. Probably sitting over there playing Madden on your PS4. In the Thursday night game, Chiefs did get a big win over the Broncos, but they lost Patrick Mahomes, maybe for the season. Is this a big deal for the Chiefs?
Are you kidding me? You're talking about the cover of Madden.
Yeah.
One of the various darlings of the league at the moment. Is he a big loss? The Chiefs themselves they go from with Patrick Mahomes to, dare I say, Super Bowl contender or even Super Bowl favorite to missing the playoffs. I can't think of, and this includes Aaron Rodgers at this point, anyone more important to their team today than Patrick Mahomes is to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you. I just wanted to point out right quick, Gully had to drop out, folks. He said he appreciated being on the program today. He said, what's up to everybody out there on the listener side and to you and Double J as well. He had to go. He had some things to take care of. So it's just, of course, now me, Brother Rich, and Double J. But, yeah, I don't know, man. If, again, I'm looking at my Facebook thread and looking at the timeline, and I'm saying to myself, all of these folks that's got a lot to say about this dude dislocating his kneecap like it wasn't no big deal. You all ain't had no knee injuries, man. The dude, based on the nature of the sport alone and the collision and the contact and all that stuff to go into it, when you're talking about dislocating the kneecap, we ain't talking about a pulled muscle. We're talking about a dislocated kneecap. Is it
because of the sport, Jay? Is that why they're doing that?
Listen, I'm saying that folks is thinking that he gonna be back next week, basically. Gonna be a game time decision. I'm telling you, no, that he ain't. He's not. Look, our doctors far greater in 2019 than they were in 1999 and 1919? Obviously. Shucks. I mean, the needle they use now for cortisone shots, it ain't as thick as the needle that they was using for polio or whatever the case may be back in the early 1900s. I get it, but they ain't got nothing to do. Father Time is Father Time, man. And ain't nobody beating Father Time, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Man, you cannot be dismissive. When the dude dislocated his kneecap, man, I don't see how he's going to be coming back no time soon. He might be done for the season. Say that again.
You said in a real way. He dislocated it in a real way.
Man, listen, when I saw it, man, I was like, oh, I started grabbing mines. Whichever one don't make a difference. I tore both of mine up. Man. It came completely apart. Dislocated and ruptured, excuse me. dislocated the kneecap in my right one and ruptured the IT. It's a tendon that runs from your hip. Like if you touch your right hip all and run it down the side of your leg, past your quad, towards your kneecap on the right side of your knee, it's a tendon that runs. They call it the IT band. Ruptured it completely and ruptured the patella and dislocated the kneecap. Okay. Yeah, he'll be back next week. Yeah. It's unfortunate, you know what I mean? Because now, Matt Moore is a stopgap, but I don't know. I just don't see. I think they season if he does come back. And again, I'm not no doctor, but if he do come back, I don't know, man. I don't know. You can't go up against a guy like Belichick.
Well, I like you. Hope he doesn't come back. I hope he doesn't come back because I like the young man. I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, I do too, man. I hope I guess you can't really waste the season because folks' jobs be on the line or whatnot. But I don't know, man. If I'm him, I don't know. My career is more. I'm thinking about. I don't want to be selfish, but it's self-help in that case for me. And again, having had the experience of. Double J, were you gonna say something else about that?
No, I think the nature of the league is to kind of misrepresent the severity of the injury.
Yeah, there you go.
To prevent connect from the third party.
Yeah, thank you. Up next, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson in particular. I be the first one to tell you, I stand corrected about Jackson. I made a big deal early on. We were doing the divisional breakdowns about how deficient he was in passing yards last season. But so far this season, and I asked my dude Herm, I'm going to read to you all the text that Herm sent me. I asked Herm to weigh in on this. Tell you the truth. Give me a second here. But I'll say this. What the Ravens did to Seattle, man, is what the Browns should have did to Seattle. That 30-16, in my estimation, it was a statement made. Brother Rich, what you say?
Totally agreed. And I think if you pull the tape on this program, on this show, some of us said at the beginning of the season that this young man was going to live up to the quote-unquote hype that surrounded him, that he was, in fact, the real deal and he was very dangerous. And so he's showing us that he is, in fact, the real deal. He's living up to everything that we thought he was. He is who he thought he was. And so he does what he continues to show and prove each and every Sunday.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with that. He looks different at that position in terms of what the other quote unquote running quarterbacks have looked like in recent years. You know what I mean? I'm not going as far as back as Randall Cunningham and all of them. Them dudes were special. But you know what I'm saying? More recent. And there's no knock against Vic, and Cam, and this ain't no knock against them. But I'm gonna tell you what Herm said right quick. I asked him. I said, Herm, I said, what up, dog? Pray that all is well. Of course, with you and the family. I said, man, listen, Lamar Jackson looked like the real deal. Is it too early to say he plays the position with more balance than some of the other running quarterbacks we've seen? He said, what up, my brother? He's laser focused. I believe he's just going to continue to ascend and not believe any of the hype, unlike some others. And he mentioned Cam Newton. Sorry, Cam. So, Double J, do you agree with Herm on that one right there? And then if you do or you don't, just still add your thoughts as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to double down on this. As Brother Rich pointed out, if you rewind the tape to that show when we were breaking down these divisions, we specifically pointed out that he had good rapport in this offseason with the receivers. It was going to be 100% about how he could throw the ball. Because, again, look at Deshaun Watson, amongst, you pointed out Cam. If you get too one-dimensional, not only does your season, but your career ends up being shortened as well. I watched a guy that I was expecting with you for that particular game to get outclassed and played by Russell Wilson. However, I cannot deny the fact that Lamar Jackson outplayed him.
He sure did.
It's interesting to me because if you as I've been very adamant about for the better part of the last 7 weeks, they've taken an L to the Cleveland Browns. But I tell you what, that is the last team that you're going to want to see as a wild card.
I think so too. I think so too. Earl Thomas said it felt good beating the Seahawks for whatever reason. I know some issues with him when he, on his way up out of there. There's a time or two when he was still with them. Was talking about going to the Cowboys. Oh, well, I don't even know why I said that. Walked right into that one. But yeah, I don't know, man. This Ravens team, man. They got a track record, man. You count them out if you want to. I know they don't always win them all, but everyone that I ever seen them been in, it go down to the wire. It's always tooth and nail. You've been in one, as you should if you're playing a team. You've been in a game, win or lose.
So do y'all want it?
Do we want what? Do we want what?
Do y'all want the guy?
Do we want what guy? Lamar Jackson?
You just were saying the Cowboys. Y'all about to get somebody.
Oh, yeah, he's hurt, Brother Rich, that he's not the starting safety for the Cowboys.
Oh, okay. Okay. I heard him say Cowboys. I know he was saying he wants somebody to go to the Cowboys.
Yeah, got you. The Colts behind
anything to plug his team, huh?
Oh boy, yeah.
The man looks out for a squad. Double J, we'll give me say.
Yeah, I look out for my squad. The squad. See, I look out for y'all. That's what I try to do. But apparently, it ain't being reciprocated. It's not being reciprocated, but it's cool, though. I got you, Brother Rich. I got something for that. Scott. The Colts, Indianapolis Colts, speaking of Indianapolis, behind Jacoby.
Since you say you look out for us, just call me Amari Cooper. The Colts behind Jacoby Brissett, 4 touchdowns, by the way. Outdoing my boy Watson and them Texans, 30-23. We all know what the score was, but I don't know, man. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't nothing against Brissett, but I didn't think that the Colts, after Luck retired, I was like, wow, it was a toss up. I gotta admit, man, that I'm impressed with what this dude doing behind him. And then I'm impressed with Frank Reich, too. I really am. I'm impressed with Frank Reich. Guy seems he got things pretty much together over there on that sideline. And he's doing a lot in the way of Jacoby having the success that he's having. But to his credit, Jacoby is executing. Brother Rich, I mean, can the Colts be a dark horse in the AFC this year? Behind
Brissett, of course.
We're not allowed to always be right. And we're not allowed to always be right, and we're not allowed to tap ourselves on the back. So I'm not going to tap Double J on the back. I'm just going to say that 2 people on this broadcast who are not Cowboys fans said at the beginning of the year that the Indiana the
Indiana Pacers, got you. They were going to win the Super Bowl. Got you.
The Indianapolis Colts were a potentially dangerous team because they were, in fact, a good team. And the fact that their quarterback had fallen away was, it was going to be a problem. But if this young man who you, in fact, pointed out to us was, in fact, going to be a good quarterback, we said that if he does any measure of his job, they are going to be dangerous. So all they're doing is living up to what we thought they were going to be. So pull the tape. 2 people on this broadcast who are not Cowboys fans who don't live in Dallas said that.
Yeah, I'm going to pull
how you doing up there?
I'm going to pull the tape up on a whole lot of programs up in here. We ain't gonna just pull the tape.
I hope you do.
Yeah,
I hope you do and listen to it twice.
Hey, but listen. But let me say this to you. I'll be the first one. I don't have a problem with standing corrected, unlike some people on this program or P-rogram. I'll be the first one to tell you if I made a point about something or made a prediction about something. The next time we come back, that's the first thing I point out, right? And yet, and still, I get thrown rocks and got the. You know what? I'm not going to even go into it. What were you going to say?
Okay, the Cowboys won. We agree that you was right.
I'm not even mentioning the Cowboys. Talk about the Cowboys, man. You know what? It's a guy I work with, man. I know he's listening right now.
Let me point out here.
RB is going to really have a field day.
Interrupt him.
Oh, my gosh.
You notice we conveniently didn't have a show when the Cowboys lost to the Jets?
Double J, did you notice that, too? Did you notice that? I thought I was the only one in America that noticed that. Oh, my goodness.
Seriously? I was in a car accident.
I was in a car accident. On the corner in L.A. and say no shop report today because the Cowboys lost. I was going to hold a sign on the corner and say, no shop report today. I need $1 to eat because no shop report today because of Cowboys ball.
Really?
Hold the sign.
It's really, you holding the sign up. You playing the
seriously,
I'm a
I
veteran.
thought you was the only one that realized that.
Yeah, you know what? Y'all just really giving fodder and more ammunition to RB, who I know is listening, the Packers fan, the Aaron Rodgers guy. So I'm going to have to deal with that when I see him too. But it's all good. Every dog shall have his day. Every dog. Remember that. And then last but not least for the program today, we will discuss the Packers. And I'll say this, it's obvious what they did to the Raiders was just uncalled for. And I think the Raiders, though, on the flip side, I think the Raiders are a little bit better than most folks expected, too. They still got some kinks to work out, but I think over the long haul, I think the Raiders going to be okay with John Gruden over there. Because you were talking about drama. If didn't nobody have drama, no team had drama, more drama this season, it was the Raiders. So for them to be even sitting at 3-3, I think is remarkable. And I give Josh Jacobs, I like that young dude, man. He can ball. We talked about him on the show as well. We had a show about him as well. Behind Josh Jacobs, man, I think they got balance. I do think the problem with the Raiders, though, is David Carr. The Packers rolled over the Raiders, right? Rodgers capped off a perfect, and I didn't even know you could be perfect in football for the most part. I mean, his QBR, and I'm not real big on the QBR, but for real, his QBR was like, what 101, what is it, 158.3? We got a caller here on the line right quick. Let's see who we got. Hey, what's going on? You calling the show report? Is this my man? This the Doc?
Yeah, it's Mr. Wilson, man. I'm calling from Canton, dog. What's going on with you?
What's going on, man? How you be up there? What's happening?
Nothing much, man. I'm on lunch break. Figured I'd call in for y'all shut it down.
Yeah, it's all good. And we right at that point, too, almost. But, yeah, we talking about we were just going over.
Yeah, I figured y'all was.
Yeah, we just going over and talking about some of the past games. I picked out a few of the past games from Week 7 because we didn't get to do a show last week. But some of the games from Week 7 that I thought kind of stood out to me, team performances, if you will. And we're talking about the Packers and what they did to the Raiders. And Rodgers, of course, peeling off a perfect QBR, 158. What is it, Double J? 158.5 or 158 point, whatever it was. He had a perfect one.
It was like 158.6.
Yeah, or something like. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, but whatever it was.
Point out as well too is just briefly, Jacoby Brissett right now is on pace to lead the entire league in touchdown passes.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, that's interesting.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm glad for them, man. To tell you the truth, man, because I think Brother Richard pointed out when we was doing our divisional breakdown that don't be surprised if them players rally around Brissett. You know what I'm saying? And they seem to have done that. And I'll say this too. I know Andrew Luck is sitting somewhere saying, "Dang, I wish I'd had that offensive line." But anyway, I digress.
I know.
Yeah. But David Carr's blunder, and Doc, I'm gonna ask you on this one too. David Carr's blunder at the goal line, in my estimation, changed the complexion of that game. But here's why I say that. Any sporting contest has what I would say an ebb and flow to it, right? It ain't so much about whose record is what going in and who got. It's an ebb and flow type of thing. You see what I'm saying? You could see one half being outplayed by one team versus the other and so on. Do you think that the Raiders in that particular play really just is what really set Aaron Rodgers and the Packers off from that point?
It wasn't no stopping Aaron Rodgers, man. He was on fire from the first time he touched the ball.
Oh, my gosh. I wish he wouldn't have said that because this is a guy that's a Packers fan I know I work with, man. He is going to be loving every bit of what you said, but go ahead.
I mean, you can't stop Aaron Rodgers. Like Stephen A. Smith, that's a bad man, dog. The first perfect passer rate in Packers history, he deserved it, man. 459 yards passing.
Yeah.
4 downs. Like, you can't stop that, no matter how good your defense is. Whenever Aaron Rodgers is dialed in, unless you get into him, rushing him, or at least knocking him down, it's going to be touchdown, first down all day.
Okay, so let me ask.
You got to disturb.
Go ahead. Finish.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let me ask you this then.
I'm going to say, to stop Aaron Rodgers, you got to disturb. You got to knock him down, push him, or at least rush him a little bit more than what the Raiders are doing, or successful rushes, I should say.
Yeah, I think the Raiders miss Khalil Mack. So where you see the Packers?
Yeah, they did. They
missing big time. So now let's say everything stays the same. Everybody stay healthy because it is football now. You know what I mean? So you can't just totally ignore injuries or whatnot. But let's say everybody stay relatively healthy for the Packers. Do you see a Packers Patriots rematch or rematch, Super Bowl rematch?
It's possible if Aaron Rodgers stayed playing the way he's playing.
Yeah,
it's possible. But a threat for the Patriots is gonna be the Baltimore Ravens because their defense is producing and their offense is producing. I mean, you got a dual threat quarterback, and then you got a defense that's out there picking off everything thrown. So I mean, only threat I see the Patriots having is the Baltimore Ravens. That'd be the only reason they don't make it to the Super Bowl. But if they do, I see Packers and Patriots in the Super Bowl.
I think so,
with
too.
The Patriots taking it, of course, because I'm a Patriots fan.
I think so, too. Double J, Brother Rich, before y'all weigh in, we got another caller. Caller, what you talking to this Barbershop J, Brother Rich, and Double J here on the Shop Report. Tell us what your name is and where you calling from.
This is RB from Wisconsin.
Oh, man. Oh, I knew he was listening. This is just a gang up on Barbershop J Day today, right? Y'all know I was in a car accident. Y'all know my back messed up. And this how y'all come for me today? It's all good. Only the doc got respect for the host, for the moderator today. I appreciate that, doc. You know what I'm saying? It took somebody from Canton, Michigan. I don't even know where that's at. You know what I'm saying? To call in and have my back. Brother Rich, Double J, y'all get muted every day.
Back, dog.
Yeah, it's all good, man. We chilling, time killing, always willing, never illin'. RB, what you got to say? What do you want to say?
All I want to say, I just want to co-sign everything that man just said. New England Green Bay Super Bowl 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But can we once for a minute, because we only got a few minutes left before we got to get out of here. We appreciate the callers calling in today. Brother Rich, can we remove some of the bias? Can we remove some of the Green Bay pack? I ain't going to tell you what should be in pack bias from this program right now and say, let's throw it on out here. Who, relatively, everybody stay healthy, who in the Super Bowl this year?
Who in the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, who in it? Give me your two.
Certainly not the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, what? Oh, RB. Oh, whoa. I
Certainly
thought you was on RB's side on that one. Okay, well, who you got?
Absolutely not.
Who you picking?
I would certainly think, first and foremost, the New England Patriots.
Yeah, that's a given.
My man.
And believe it or not, dark horse, the San Francisco 49ers.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
But you know what though? A lot of people are talking about them not so much for their offense, but because of their defense. Who's the coordinator? Dang, but I can't remember the defensive coordinator over there. But the defensive coordinator, his track record is lightweight stellar. I cannot think of his name right now. Double J, do you know what's the defensive coordinator's name for the 49ers? Do you know? Probably not. I didn't think that was going to come up because I didn't pick the 49ers as one of the games to talk about today. But, yeah, from my understanding, this dude,
Robert Saleh is the defensive coordinator.
Appreciate that, Doc. My man, Doc, to the rescue. Yeah, that's what it do. RB, can we take some bias out of this for a minute? Can we please take the bias out? We know that you're a Packers fan. Every time I see you at work, you got your Packer geared out. You got your Packer you got the Packers bumper sticker on the car. You know what I'm saying? You got you Packered out head to toe. Can we just take but you're a football person first and foremost, correct? Am I correct in saying that?
Correct.
Okay. Could you see, other than the Packers, could you see the 49ers as the team in the NFC matched up with the Patriots in the Super Bowl? I'm getting a little noise back there. I couldn't hear you. Say that again.
Absolutely not.
You know what? You and this absolutely. We're going to have to coin it. We have to put that on a T-shirt. Absolutely not. Dude, and why not? Why couldn't you see the 49ers? Because you just can't remove the Packers?
Well, I'm being unbiased. I'm going to throw New Orleans in there.
I forgot
Teddy
about
Bridgewater.
Yeah, I forgot about the Saints. Yeah, well, I forgot about the Saints.
Don't sleep on Bridgewater. He's doing this thing.
Yes,
man.
he is. You know what? And I expect him to get a nice job next year if he ain't still, because he can't be no backup. He already shown he's more than a backup to me.
I think he's fragile, man. I think if he's smart, he just go ahead and collect that check and be a backup and keep doing what he got to do on quarterback.
And then maybe
fragile, man. All these injuries and all that.
Yeah, and then maybe you're saying
he's just not a starting quarterback.
You saying maybe take over for Drew Brees?
Once Drew Brees retires, but I think he should stay where he at. I like the system he's in. He's got a good offense around him, and it fits his style of play. And like I said, he's so fragile, man. I don't think he's quite ready for a starting job just yet. Because what happened when he came back from the last injury? He got hurt again. He was out for the rest of the season. So it's like, until he can show me that he can stay healthy for a full at least 10 games, I think he should stay right where he at. Wait till Drew Brees leaves, then take over, then just retire on a high note.
Yeah. Well, I got a different take when it comes to NFL injuries. Like I said, knowing a former player, my man Herm Arvey, anytime I hear this thing about the injuries or whatnot, I just the picture of his fingers come to mind, and I'm saying, man, the nature of the sport and the hazards, man, it's a wonderment to me that more guys are not hurt more often. And I ain't wishing nothing bad on nobody, but there's a testament to what these guys do when they in the off season when they working out or whatnot. That's why I don't question no football player, NFL player when they working out. I don't care if they with the team, OTAs or not with the team. If you know your craft, you can't skip. Just like Floyd Mayweather in boxing, can't stand his mouth at times, but you ain't gonna outwork him because you can't get away with not working if you're gonna be in that craft. And football is like one of them, like boxing. It's just one of them crafts you can't have. As when it comes to getting in shape for it, you just can't. So it's a wonderment to me that more guys are healthier and not hurt as often as you might think. But Double J, let me get you in on this one. Other than the RB saying the Packers, he rolling with the Packers. Brother Rich got the Patriots in the AFC. Doc got the Patriots and the Packers. Who you got?
Yeah, because of the injury to Mahomes, I'm actually going to go Pat and Saints here.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the same.
Assuming Drew Brees is ready when he comes back.
Oh, and you know what? We talking about quarterbacks right quick. I will say this. Man, my hat goes out to Alex Smith, man. Again, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I've had 5 surgeries on both knees. 5. I feel it every day. Even on a good day, I feel it. It don't feel well. This dude has 17. 17. It's no way in the world.
Yeah, he got an infection.
Yes, man. And listen, to be cut on for anything, man, I'm not going to even go down that road. That's why when it comes to NFL players and getting paid, y'all know whose side I'm on. 17. Man, I know some grown men who lift weights every day. When they see a needle, they pass out. So don't, okay? And this dude has 17?
Right.
Woo. Yeah, man. Every NFL player. And you know what? We're going to talk about this on the next show. Doc, we got to get ready to get out of here. RB, we got to get ready to get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all for calling. But before y'all go, I just want to let y'all know, next week, we already got the topics jumping off here. We're going to talk about the NFL's upcoming CBA. I think it's some good stuff to point out in this upcoming collective bargaining agreement, especially when they're talking about the increase of more regular season games and eliminating the preseason game. So I want to say again, y'all, appreciate y'all for calling in, man, all right? RB, I'll see you when I get back to work, man.
Oh, no problem, man.
It's all good. Appreciate it.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
You too, man. Yeah, bro, Rich, Double J, y'all still with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's all good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we getting a little long in the tooth. You know, this thing is no longer a podcast. We call it that, but, it's a full-fledged show. I'm just glad we got enough energy to fill it up. We've been rolling here for about, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Okay? That's what we do here at the Shiz Out, baby. You know how it is when it's good conversation, man. Oh, look at the time. You know what they say. Time sure flies when you might of size. That's a free plug, even though they ain't around no more.
Indeed, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's all good. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run.
Cowboys fans, they always have a lot to talk about.
Bro, Rich, what did I do to you, man?
Notice we did skip them, didn't we?
I don't go through every game no more.
Absolutely.
I told you it'd take too long.
Absolutely.
You know what? Yeah, I see right now. I'm gonna have to put an ad in the classifieds for 2 new co-hosts because this is getting out of hand. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network. You go to the Spreaker, of course, and you go to the search box, type in the Shop Report. Or you can check us out on Facebook, our Facebook fan page, Twitter, Google Podcasts. We finally got the Google Podcasts up and running the way it's supposed to. So if you go to the Google Play Podcast, you type in the Shop Report. Please subscribe and share it with your friends. And we're on Apple Podcasts, of course, and Spotify. And give us a follow. And like I just said, to subscribe and to our YouTube channel as well. And, of course, you can always send us an email via let me back up. You and Brother Richard's Dallas Cowboy stuff got me messed up.
Just look for the page that says, how about them Cowboys?
Y'all can send us an email at the shopreport365@gmail.com. And, again, let us know what topics you'd like for us to discuss in the future. And just drop us a line if you would. And if that don't work, Google it for my man, B. Rich, the Cowboy undercover fan, and Ohio State's #1 booster. And my cat on the other side, Double J, Ohio State athletic director in training behind Gene Smith. I'm Barbershop J. And for all those who follow us and support us, we say thank you. And you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla.